true, but don't pity me. Pity my heart that's gonna break. Pity my kiss that you won't take, but don't pity me. Pity from others I have plenty of, but darling, from you I want love. Pity the love I'll throw away till you
From a couple of years on, things are real horrible here in New York, all over.
You're dealing with a lot of people that are maniacs today.
We're dealing with an individual who's very basic, who only knows two things: rip off or be ripped off.
Many of those who make good by being bad are nowhere to be seen these days.
I'd be afraid. Of course I'd be afraid. He's a sick guy. He'd kill any time.
You ever wish?
There isn't anything on earth that I will hide from or back up from.
People seem not to understand the close relationship between organized crime and street crime. And certainly in dealing with street crime in his area or any other kind of crime, the uniform patrol.
Presenzano, shot 4 times, his throat cut. Presenzano was allegedly connected.
Hello, everybody. Let me get rid of that 1 second. What's going on, people? How are you? I sound like another content creator. Hello, people. Some of you know who that is. Happy Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well. Got a good show for you today. Let me say hi to some people. I'm going to make a few announcements, and we'll get started on a couple of things. Hard truths and reviews. Loomis, OG Mike, what is going on? Right back at you. Roro G. Yep. Thank you, everybody. 23,000 subscribers. Yes. Edward Everett, how are you, sir? Bruno 67, how are you? Roro, how are you? Of course, as always. Okay, let's see. 20 people. Oof. We're in for a slow night, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so a couple of announcements. Once we get a couple of more people in here, we're going to be talking about a certain individual today. I'll show you who that individual is so you can all get acquainted with what that individual looks like. Here he is. Eric Ulrich. Let's talk about Eric Ulrich in a little bit, and I'll let you guys decide. Eric Ulrich, politician, maybe. Mob associate. Politician, definitely. Mob associate? I don't know. Maybe. I'll let you guys decide. Let's see if anyone else is coming in here. No one's really saying hello yet. Craig, what's going on? Good to see you. G78, my man in Ireland, what's going on? Good to see you too, bro. All right, so a couple of announcements. Once again, yes, as Roro said, I hit 23,000 subscribers. Let me get rid of Eric Ulrich's nerdy face. 23,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. It was a rough 1,000. It was a rough march to 23,000 from 22,000. Unfortunately, I have no one to blame but myself for something like that. But I hope to be making more content on a daily basis. All right. 24. Curtis Lewis rips on Adams on a daily. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's a funny guy. Let's see what else. Oh, announcement 2. Tomorrow, episode 1 is going to be come out. Episode 1 of right now what we're going to be calling The Pick. Maybe we'll come up with another name. Pete the Pick, LaFrocia. Our long form conversation. That's why I'm calling it episode 1. It's about a 40-minute conversation. Of course, we'll be talking about Anthony Center's release We're going to be talking about a bunch of other things as well. It's about a 40-minute conversation, and we're planning on doing that hopefully once a week, if not maybe 3 times a month. We'll see how it works out. I'm in the process of setting things up with Pete, working all the tech stuff out. I could say that some of you will be happy to hear that he does sound pretty good on this interview. So you guys aren't going to have a problem hearing what he has to say. Once again, that'll be out tomorrow. Episode 1 of The Pick. Tomorrow, Pete the Pick Lafrocia will be on speaking with me. It's pre-recorded. We recorded it already. A lot of people are on here talking about Anthony Center, which is fine, of course. I mean, I have decided not to do a show on it because so many people did, even though people do look to me to talk about this DeMeo stuff. I didn't want to do it until I had Pete on. So Pete will be the first person to speak publicly that was actually indicted with Anthony Center, that sat in court with Anthony Center, that ran the streets with Anthony Center, who was also part of the Roy DeMeo crew, Pete the Pick Lafrocia. You will hear from the man tomorrow in episode 1 of The Pick. And of course, as a friend of Anthony's, he is elated that Anthony is going to be getting out of prison. Of course, they cannot communicate with each other. Probably never. I imagine that Anthony will be out on lifetime parole. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I hope you guys enjoy it tomorrow. I'll release that early afternoon tomorrow, episode 1. Okay. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the indictment of Eric Ulrich, the New York City politician, councilman turned New York City Buildings Commissioner under Eric Adams. Once again, let's look at Eric Ulrich, and we're going to talk about who this guy is. There he is right there, originally a councilman out of Queens, okay? Now, as always, I've prepared a bunch of slides for you. Who is this? Il Toro. What's going on, bro? G78. I see a little ginger leprechaun with Sal Apisi. Sal Polisi talking to Jamal. Yeah, I checked in on that fucking nightmare that was on YouTube earlier. That absolute fucking nightmare that was on. I mean, and from what I can tell, that person was hijacking the fucking conversation as always. But hey, what do you expect? What do you expect? Utter chaos. Okay, so Eric Ulrich. Who is Eric Ulrich? Born 1985 in Queens, New York City, he would grow up in Ozone Park. That's pretty important now, isn't it? Graduated from Cathedral Prep School and Seminary, where he contemplated becoming a priest. Ulrich would instead get involved in civics and local politics in his native Ozone Park, Queens. So Eric Ulrich would obviously not become a priest. He would go on to study political science on a full scholarship, and he would graduate from St. Francis College in 2007. And just 2 years after graduating from college, he would be elected to the city council in District 32 as a Republican, representing Bell Harbor, Breezy Point, Broad Channel, Howard Beach, Lindenwood, Neponset, Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, Rockaway Park, Roxbury, South Ozone Park, West Hamilton Beach, and finally, Woodhaven. Okay? So he would get elected in 2013 and 2017 again. Okay, so that was 3 terms as a councilman. Now, obviously, you can't serve any more terms after that. Now, on January 5th of 2022, Eric Ulrich, he would be named a senior advisor to the mayor under Eric Adams, right? And on May 3rd of 2022, Ulrich would be appointed as commissioner of New York City Department of Buildings. And here we have Mr. Eric Ulrich there in the background. Excuse me, you have Eric Adams right there. These two upstanding gentlemen right there. But what is going to happen with Eric Ulrich is that's not going to last. His buildings commissioner position will not last. Why is that? Because in September of this year, just a couple of months ago, he would be indicted. We're going to look at that indictment, of course. This is going to be another one of the shows where we look at indictments and we talk about a bunch of things, okay? So what would he be indicted for? So let me add this to the stage. Let's really get into this. Okay. Okay. So this says here, over the past 2 years, the New York District Attorney's Office, assisted by the New York Department of Investigation, has been investigating the conduct of Eric Ulrich. This investigation uncovered that Ulrich, a former New York City councilman for District 32, a former senior advisor to Mayor Adams, and former New York City Department of Buildings, used his authority and influence in those positions to benefit Joseph Livreri, Anthony Livreri, Michael Mazzio, Mark Kohler, Paul Grego, and Victor Truta, including entities owned or controlled by them and others, known and unknown, in exchange for money and gifts, including a premium season ticket package to the New York Mets, a bespoke suite, artwork, and a discounted apartment, and certain amenities in a beachfront building in Queens. Since at least 2017, Ulrich, while in public office, solicited and received tens of thousands of dollars from multiple sources, including J. Livreri, A. Livreri, Mazzio, Grego, and Schroeder. Ulrich used that money, among other things, to fund his gambling at public casinos, as well as a private illegal gambling club at 8902 101st Avenue in Ozone Park, called the 89th Street Cafe. And we'll get into the history of that cafe in a minute, which is owned and operated by J. Livreri. Ulrich omitted the additional income from his annual financial disclosures, which he was required to file with the New York City Conflict of Interest Board. So he's charged with 5 counts of offering false instrument for filing in the first degree in violation of New York Penal Code. So let's get into more exactly who are these guys that he was charged with and what was he doing. Okay. So the indictment charges Ulrich, Livreri, and Anthony Livreri, Joseph Livreri, and Mazzio with conspiring with others, known and unknown, to use Ulrich's authority, obviously, to get these little sweet deals. So let's go forward. All right. These charges relate to Ulrich's intervention with the Department of Housing on behalf of Aldo's Pizzeria, a restaurant owned and operated by J. Livreri and A. Livreri, after a failed health inspection with Department DOB and behalf of Fortunato Brothers Bakery, which I believe is in Williamsburg. Somebody probably correct me. J. Livreri and A. Livreri's request that the business was shut down due to a fire. In both instances, Ulrich was successful in obtaining expediting re-inspections, resulting in a rapid reopening of both businesses. Okay. Ulrich's assistance was provided as part of an ongoing arrangement with the Livreris for continued financial assistance. In particular, on February 15th, 2022, the day after Aldo's closed, this is Aldo's Pizza in Ozone Park, Ulrich went, while at a private casino, solicited $300 from J. Livreri. The next day, Ulrich elevated Aldo's re-inspection issue to the mayor's chief officer. Aldo's reopened February 17th, 2022. So this is the stuff. So here's some conversation. Livreri and J. Livreri, the owner of Aldo's. So what happened? Nothing. Ulrich got it done. He did what he needed to do. He's going to stop by, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it also charges that Ulrich, along with a guy by the name of Kohler, conspiring with one of the others known and unknown, to use Ulrich's authority in his government positions to help Kohler and his company, the Marcal Group, with their development projects, in exchange for Kohler giving Ulrich a discounted beachfront apartment and other benefits in one of Kohler's buildings. Okay, so here we have some more conversations. The guy Ulrich also used his apparent authority as senior advisor to the mayor on behalf of Kohler to influence other New York City employees and agencies, including the DOB and the FDNY, to conduct an inspection at 158 Beach 116th Street, Rockaway Park. So this is a message in reference to that. It says, the guy across the street has to go. Amen. I'm counting on you to make that happen. You will become a local hero forever. They destroyed the neighborhood for 30 years and made millions. There has to be a way. So these guys trying to get these people out. I agree, but it's going to take a lot of hustling and cudgeling. This is a project and a half. So you see this guy, he's doing things behind the scenes. He's taking money, this and that. And then there's also a guy involved in a towing company. And then Ulrich's intervention with the former DOB commissioner to issue a letter of no objection for one of Grego's clients, a restaurant that needed a liquor license. So he's like expediting all these things that, you know, a lot of business owners, they need to reopen their business if they're shut down. They need a license, whatever it may be. He's expediting all this shit, and he's taking payments under the table, according to this indictment. Okay. Now, it also says that he receives some artwork in doing this as well. As you can see, great, good. I got things for you. A painting. Oh, that your daughter did? She did. I remember that. Yeah, your daughter made a painting that she did. That was cute. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure it's a daughter's painting. All right. So I think you guys get the idea, kind of. I don't want to go on and on with this, but I think you guys kind of get the idea of what's going on with this guy. How many people we have here? 42. Let me see what's going on. Williams Point. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Corruption connection. What's going on? Rob D. Damn it. I have to take a JC ride. I'm going to miss it. What is a JC ride? The truth. Huh. Interesting. All right. So that's what he's doing. Okay. Now, he has been indicted. Of course, he is no longer at his building's position. Now, if you see some of those restaurants, Aldo's Pizza, stuff like that, all these Ozone Park type people, right? Of course, that's where Ulrich grew up. So that would make sense that he would know people there. So I want to show you guys, and we're going to talk more about some of these locations. I want to show you guys an article that came out from the New Yorker. Okay. And I'm going to share the screen, and there's going to be a couple of interesting paragraphs there. We're going to go into some of that stuff too, because you guys are going to find this really interesting. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this article is called Eric Ulrich, the Unwise Guy. Okay. This is for the New Yorker. As you see, Eric Ulrich, the unwise guy, a top official in the Adams administration, gambled with the mob and allegedly took bribes. So let's go down to this paragraph here. Ulrich's former staffers say that he won over skeptics by taking constituent work seriously. He tracked down a deceased constituent's relatives so that she wouldn't be buried in a pauper's grave on Hart Island, and organized Hurricane Sandy relief efforts moments after his daughter was born. So this next paragraph is pretty important. Some of those constituents include wise guys. In 2011, Ulrich wrote a letter of support for William Old Man Willie Pazienza, a soldier in the Gambino family who pleaded guilty to trafficking women from Eastern Europe into New York strip clubs under the protection of the Gambinos and the Bananos. He wrote a letter for this guy. Okay. He writes, I have known the defendant for the past 7 years and consider him a personal friend. He wrote to the judge on his city council letterhead. In 2017, Robert Pisani, owner of a Howard Beach bagel shop and alleged Bonanno family associate, pleaded guilty to collecting gambling debts as part of a $26 million loan sharking operation. Ulrich vouched for him too. Mr. Pisani is a kind person, devoted family man, and a selfless individual, he wrote. Before he was 30, Ulrich established himself as a political connector between Republican candidates and Queens leaders and power brokers. Often he held court at Aldo's, a pizzeria in Ozone Park, where he bought Joe Lhota to stump for mayor in 2003. Okay, you guys got all that, right? So he's writing letters dating back, 10 or more years ago. He has a history of writing letters for indicted wise guys. G78, my man in Ireland. Thank you so much, my brother. 1999. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate that. You are the man. Thanks for being here. I know you missed last stream, but I appreciate you making this one. I know you're getting late over there. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Roro, Edie Falcon Carmelo went to my high school 2 years ahead of me. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so you guys saw those letters. Now let's talk about those guys. Let's look at those indictments. So he writes a letter for a guy by the name of Pisani, okay, and a guy by the name of Pazienza. So let's look at Pazienza. So Pazienza is a part of an indictment with Alphonse Trucchio, son of Ronnie One-Arm Trucchio, who is currently serving a life sentence for racketeering, okay? Now, if you see the second name there, William Pazienza Sr., Old Man Willie, the grandfather, all this other stuff. 2011, as you see, he writes a letter for this guy saying he's a great guy. I've known him for so long. Let's look at what this indictment says. It's in reference to a strip club enterprise. So the strip club enterprise was a criminal organization whose members engaged in crimes including extortion, visa fraud, transporting, harboring, and inducing the entry of illegal aliens, among other crimes. Okay. The strip club enterprise was in part of compromise of members and associates of the Gambino organized crime family and Bonanno organized crime family collectively. Okay. As you can see here, Alphonse Trucchio, William Pazienza Sr., that's the guy he wrote the letter for. The strip club enterprise controlled a series of strip clubs throughout Queens and Long Island, New York. Among other things, the strip club enterprise recruited women from Russia and Eastern Europe to enter the United States and work at the strip clubs, and facilitated their entry by helping them fraudulently obtain non-immigrant J-1 visas. Once the women arrived in the United States, the strip club enterprise brought them to the strip clubs to work as strippers in violation of the visas and often provided housing and transportation for the women as well. So it also says that the strip club enterprise, actual and potential disputes among the owners and operators of certain strip clubs. Okay, so this is all racketeering, of course. So this guy was involved in this. William Pazienza. He was involved in this strip club scheme where they were importing these women from other countries and putting them to work, so to speak. I'm sure that's not all they were doing was stripping over there. Okay. So that's one guy that he wrote the letter for. Okay. Now, another guy that he wrote a letter for was Mr. Pisani, who was apparently a Bonanno associate. That's what they're saying. Operating out of, I believe, Howard Beach or Ozone Park. He had a bagel shop. But before we get to that, despite his letter to the judge, Pazienza would still go to prison. As you see here, he would be in prison for 21 months in relation to that. So I don't know if Ulrich really helped out with that. I don't know why, as a city councilman, you would want to write a letter saying how much of a nice guy somebody is who was involved in something like that, something that would seem to be what Roro G is saying here. Pretty strange. But this is what he did. Now, this other guy, Pisani, as you can see this indictment over here. Let's go to this. What's that? So this has to do with the bananas. There's murder conspiracies in here. There's all types of shit in here. Ronnie G. Alonzo, Michael Pamasio, Michael Padavona. Some of you guys might know these names. And then you see the name of Robert Pisani right there. Now, Robert Pisani would be involved in this thing due to gambling. He would get indicted with these guys due to some of the gambling and, I believe, loan shark aspects of this case. Now, Pisani, what would happen to him? Collection of unlawful debt, racketeering conspiracy. Pisani would get a 30-month sentence, despite Mr. Eric Ulrich writing that letter for him, sticking up for him. Okay. Now, what else would happen here? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of the names, some of the places that we mentioned here. So we first talked about this place, right? Aldo's, 13701 Cross Bay Boulevard. So this is a place. There's Eric Ulrich with the original owner. I believe his name is Aldo Calore. It was established at 7617 101st Avenue in City Line in 1962. It opens its second location at Cross Bay Boulevard a few decades later. That here is Eric and this guy here, and that location would be this one for you guys wanting to kind of see a better picture there. Now, this place does have a history of being mentioned in the news due to organized crime. In the early 2000s, when Ronnie One-Arm, Ronald Trucchio, would start getting indicted, he would, I believe, from like 2003 to 2005, like there would be like 3 years there where they kept throwing indictments. He's serving life right now for racketeering. It would be discovered, it would be outed. Here's Ronnie One-Arm right here. It would be outed that Ronald Trucchio, Ronnie One-Arm, was actually on the books here at Aldo's. And how they figured that out was when they did file the indictment and when they were looking into Ronnie One-Arm, they had discovered that he purchased I believe, a Cadillac, an automobile. And in purchasing this automobile, he listed his job as being an employee at Aldo's, where he was getting a salary, I believe, somewhere between $75,000 to $100,000, I believe. Now, at that time, I believe the owner was still this guy, Aldo Calore. But very interesting nonetheless. Great food. Yes, I've been there before myself, although after this, I'm probably not allowed there anymore. Twin brother, Andy Center, getting out soon. Yes, he is getting out. No show job. Yep. As everyone's saying, no show job, no show job. Yeah, I wonder what he told. Yep. So that's some of that history of that place. I mean, it's got a long history, but as far as like connections to maybe having connections to organized crime, you know. So let's look at the place that Eric Ulrich is reputed to be gambling at, which what it says in the indictment. Okay. The place that he is gambling at is it's right here. 8902 101st Avenue in Ozone Park, this corner spot here. Okay. Now, according to the indictment, this spot is currently ran by the Livreri brothers who run Aldo's. Now, I'm not like talking about things here, guys, just so you know. I'm not outing anybody. I'm not like fucking ratting people out. This is all public knowledge. This is in the indictment. This has been all over the news. Interestingly enough, about this location, this is a former social club of a man who passed away a little over 10 years ago, a man by the name of Ciro Perone, former capo, a capo, well, former because he's dead, but a capo in the Genovese crime family. Okay. So these are the type of places that Eric Ulrich is hanging out in, apparently gambling in, and he's doing favors to all these guys who seemingly have connections to organized crime. If you went back within a decade, he has wrote what we know of 2 letters to judges for organized crime members or associates of organized crime, telling the judges how these guys are nice guys, please give them a break. One of them involved with what appears to be sex trafficking, another one involved with some kind of gambling and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about another couple of other things in reference to Eric Adams too. What do you guys think about all this stuff? And I posed the question, on the thumbnail of this video, Eric Adams, building commissioner, Eric Ulrich, mob associate, yes, no. In the title of the video, I say buildings commissioner, a mafia lackey. Well, what would you consider this guy? Would you consider this guy some sort of associate? I mean, what does it take to be an associate, right? You're writing letters for these guys to judges, a couple of different guys over the years, trying to help them with their cases. You're gambling with these guys. You're doing favors for these guys for money under the table. What is that to you? Is that an associate? Some would say it is. How can you be involved with a crew that likely murdered 200 people and get out? That's not right. Well, some people believe that, Jared. Yeah. 200 people. I think that's kind of high, but I understand what you're saying. They own him. Yeah. So he could be like a lackey, probably not an associate. Yeah. I'm just posing the question. I mean, I suppose he is doing things that maybe associates would do. So it's like, what do you call, what does it take to be an associate? Do you have to kill people? Because no one's really killing anybody anymore. So what does it take? If you're receiving money from guys and you're doing them favors at an extremely high level, it's not like some neighborhood favor thing. I mean, you're using city agencies and your power and your sway to help these guys who are seemingly mafia associates. I mean, they've been indicted a number of times, these guys. So you're doing favors to them. Not only that, you're gambling with them. You're hanging out with them in Ciro Perone's fucking former spot, which is apparently now run by the Livreri brothers who run Aldo's. And as I said, Aldo's has its own history with Ronnie One Arm. All right. So we think of associate. We think, oh, you have to be an associate. You have to like be a street guy. You got to be some kind of fucking grimy dude. Do you though? He was connected. You're playing ball. You're in. I kind of feel the same way. No, but an associate is voluntary. It sounds like Bruno is correct and they own him, paying off a debt. They own him. That's interesting. So then you're implying that, like you said, he's paying off a debt. He owes somebody money, or maybe they have something on him. Pete kind of looks like. What does that mean? Oh, kind of looks like 35 years is not life plus 20. That's our broken justice system. Yeah, well, like I said earlier, you guys are going to hear from Anthony Center's friend tomorrow on my channel. Episode 1 of what is looking to be like something special. Something special. We're going to start something really cool. Yeah, I don't think so. You don't have to be a grimy dude. You don't have to be on the streets, whatever. I want to talk about something else in relation to Eric Adams that I think you guys are going to find really interesting, because this is not the first time that Eric Adams has had somebody. This is not the first time, I should say, that Eric Adams has been in the news for somebody either that gave him money or was connected to him having some sort of mob dealings. And you guys are going to like this one. So let's step away from Ulrich for a minute. You guys can keep talking. Maybe what do you think about Ulrich? But let's talk about this situation right here. RD, my man, what's going on? How are you, buddy? Thanks for joining. RD, we're talking about Eric Ulrich, a man who was indicted in September of 23 for taking kickbacks from the mob. So I want to share the screen, and I'm going to read this article for you in relation to Eric Adams and more kind of mob shit. So, Pete D, you're going to like this one. All right. Eric's racketeer donor, flagged by Watchdog. His 4Gs also exceeded legal limit. Mayoral contender and Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams accepted $4,000 in campaign money from a man flagged by a city watchdog group several years ago as being convicted of racketeering activity. Anthony Volpes Jr. gave to Adams twice in the last 2 years, first in the form of a $2,000 donation last July, and again for the same amount last month, city campaign records show. According to a 2014 decision from the City Business Integrity Commission, Volpes Jr. is a convicted racketeer and the son of Anthony Volpes Sr., who was convicted in 1990 for his role in a illegal landfill on Staten Island, an operation the commission called one of the largest and most serious frauds involving environmental crime ever prosecuted by the United States. Volpes Jr. was indicted in September of 2001 for selling cocaine and pleaded guilty to a drug sale charge 2 years later, according to the commission, which detailed his organized crime ties in its report. On top of Adams accepting money from him, it appears Volpes Jr.'s contributions also exceeded campaign finance. All right. So he's accepting money. Listen, whether he knows this guy or not, I don't know. But he's accepting money, and his team is accepting money from this guy who is flagged as some sort of mafia guy. Now listen to that name, Anthony Volpes Jr. Okay. Who's Anthony Volpes Jr.? Well, let me get into that. You guys are going to find it very interesting. Chilling, RD. Good to see you, brother. Just chilling, man. OG Mike, what's up? What's up? You're going to like this one, PT. You're going to like this one. So, Anthony Volpes Jr. Who's Anthony Volpes Jr.? Well, Anthony Volpes Jr. is the son of course, Anthony Volpes Sr. and the nephew of Dominic Volpes, who is Anthony Volpes' brother. Now, who are Anthony and Dominic Volpes? They are the uncles of Anthony Center, meaning Anthony Volpes Jr. is Anthony Center's cousin, right? Okay. Now, you guys know that Anthony Center's uncle, who had the carding company, was responsible for doing what? What was Anthony Center's uncle's carding company responsible for doing? Let's see in the comments. Now, this is a lot of people don't even know this shit. What were the Volpes, Anthony Center's uncle's carding business responsible for doing? Let's see if somebody can write that in the comments. I'll wait. Politicians don't make over 250 yet. They're all million. Yeah, makes you wonder, right? Makes you wonder. Dumping trash at Fountain Avenue. That is 100% correct. Body removal. That is correct. That is correct. Taking bodies to the landfill. That is correct. So Anthony Volpes Jr. Now, how Eric Adams knows him, why he's giving money to Eric Adams in excess of what he's supposed to. He was obviously flagged from the people watching the donation stuff. So why isn't Eric Adams' team catching that? Who the fuck is Eric Adams? This is too weird. Yeah. 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 So a lot of people don't know that with that family. Yeah, I guess it's pertinent to Anthony getting out. Yeah. At the Gemini. Yeah. 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 And after Anthony was in prison, they would actually find some kind of trailer. You guys can look this up. It's I don't want to say it's funny, but it's a news headline from at the time where it was like bodies found in the freezer. It was like on the front. It was a crazy headline. They found like these bodies in some kind of trailer that were connected to those guys. Some would say maybe Anthony and them had something to do with it. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. No idea. No. It's not tied to him getting out at all. It's not tied to him getting out at all. No. And I'm not even saying that Eric Adams even is like friends with Anthony Volpes Jr., but it's interesting that that's another time that he gets caught. Well, not caught, but somehow intermingling with guys associated with the mob. Now, this guy's family maybe worse than, the Eric Ulrich angle, because when you really look at the darkness behind some of what those people were doing, I mean, listen, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. So what do you guys think? Another thing I noticed, guys, now this is kind of this is another thing that I found extremely interesting when Eric Adams was running for mayor. Do you guys know who Bo Dietl is? I'm gonna do a show on Bo Dietl one of these days. Bo Dietl is a former New York City police detective. Some people refer to him as like kind of like a Dirty Harry type guy. He grew up around Ozone Park. He was involved in a lot of high profile cases. There's a movie that was made about him called One Tough Cop. I think one of the Baldwin brothers played him. He was involved in like a lot of high profile cases. There was a situation back in the 80s, I believe. There was an incident where a nun was, let's say, sexually assaulted, brutalized in a church uptown Manhattan. He was involved in that case. I believe he was involved in the Palm Sunday Massacre case. He was involved in a lot of cases. He was in the Gemini movie. I'm not surprised. So Bo Dietl is in a bunch of Mafia movies, okay? Not only that, but Bo Dietl over his career has done nothing but talk well about the mob. One would say that he idolizes the Mafia. Bo Dietl has a table at Rayo's. Okay. You guys know what that means, right? To have a table at Rayo's, it's nearly impossible. Okay, you probably have a better chance of hitting the fucking Powerball than having a table at Rayo's. Okay, he talks about Gotti a bunch of times. He always positive things about the mob. One would say he's probably obsessed with the Mafia. Now with the Rayo's thing, with all this other stuff, and like I said, I'm going to do a video on Bo, because I have a lot of clips and a lot of things of him talking very well about the mob. I think he's like walking this thin line, right? So what surprised me when Eric Adams was running for mayor, Bo Dietl was stumping for him pretty hard, and I found that pretty interesting because if you know, like, who Bo Dietl, he's not like a Democrat kind of guy. He's anything but like a Democrat kind of guy. I mean, he's certainly more like Republican, more like America, this and that. So I was like, interesting that Eric Adams is stumping for this like Democrat dude, this Brooklyn borough president dude. That's kind of weird. But when you start really analyzing these things, maybe there is a reason why he was stumping for Eric Adams so hard. It's blowing up in his face, as you guys can see. And like I said, I will do a video on Bo Dietl because I think that he is somewhat Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do. And he's a private investigator. He'll probably investigate me after I do that video. He'll send his private team, against me. I used to think he was entertaining, but the more I look at him, I don't know, it's kind of something going on with that guy. Definitely not fair. Henry was convicted of murder. He's doing 150 years. It was better to get a life sentence. Yeah, Henry's in prison for auto crimes. And yeah. The nun was part of the plot in Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel. Oh, okay. Cool. Very cool. There you go. What about, yeah. Yeah. I thought about that, and he did get in trouble. I'm going to go into it, guys. Not now, but I'm going to go into it. And he did get in trouble with something with not that extreme, but there's been questions in the past in relation to him and the mob. And no one's really talking about that. No one's ever really talked about that. First time in New York City, I can't afford Rayo's sauce in the store. Must have a table. Congrats. Thank you so much, Will. I really appreciate that. Yeah, to have a table at Rayo's, it's crazy. Prison for life over auto crimes. Yes. You would think Pirelli would get out before Sunday. Yeah, you would think so. Unbelievably strange, guys. Unbelievably strange. Roro G. Will Hinderbrand. Yes. Matthew Wells. So I think we covered that whole thing with Eric Ulrich. We'll wait to see what happens with him. It looks like he's probably going to get in trouble. How much time will he do? I don't know. Probably not that much. Anyone that supports it was very surprising. I was extremely surprised in Bo Dietl, but you never know what goes behind the scenes, why people do things, who people know, who are supporting people, this and that. But once again, Eric Ulrich, this guy here, right now, he sits indicted, taking kickbacks, doing favors for Mafia associates. He has a history of writing letters in support of mob associates who are indicted. He has a history of writing letters to judges about them. He was holding court often at Aldo's right here. Here he is with the original owner there. Here he is with Eric Adams. And as I discussed earlier, Aldo's in the early 2000s was outed as on the books employment of Ronald Ronnie One Arm Trucchio, a man who sits in prison for life at this moment for racketeering. And not to mention, one of the letters that Ulrich wrote for Mr. Who did he write the letter for? I think it was Pazienza. Let me go back. Yeah, Pazienza. He wrote this letter for William Pazienza Sr., a man who was indicted with Ronnie One Arm's son, Alphonse. So some would say he's connected. I don't know. You guys think he's connected? Mr. Ozone Park himself. What up, Marky? What's going on, bro? Marky, that was crazy the other night, wasn't it? That chat? Oh, my God. He looks like evil Harry Potter. Yeah. He's got a real nerdy look. He's kind of got like a Pee Wee Herman look to him. Let me see something here. Roro. Cash app from Roro. $100 cash app from Roro. Unbelievable, Roro. Roro, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You don't have to do that. You're so kind. That's the second one you've given me in my back-to-back live streams. That really means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And that's gonna, that's gonna go to something good, believe me, because unbelievable. Everything that you guys ever donate, goes back. Yes, he was. That's another thing. He talks often about the Scopos, Bo Dietl. Yes. But Roro, thank you once again so much. You guys are so kind. Alyssa says, thank you, Roro. Thank you. Yeah, 23,000. It was rough. It was rough. From 22 to 23, it was like the roughest time. But I have a lot to do with that. And this time next year, I hope to be way over 30,000, maybe even getting close to 40. Hopefully, we'll see about that. We will see about that. So, guys, tomorrow, in case you haven't heard me, all right, Zero Pro, I think was going on the way about talking about Bullet. Oh, was he really? I know he was caught in the arrest in Don Peps talking about there's a famous thing. He was talking about the Gotti kids doing that show, right? He was calling them he was saying they a little this, you know. He was saying they look a little effeminate, I guess would be the word to use. He was making fun of them for that show. Tiger King Poppy. That's a cool name. I've never seen you in here, Tiger King Poppy. That is a good name. Thank you. Thank you, Bruno. Does he even upload anymore, Mooney? I think he disappeared or something. Tiger King Poppy. Wow. What a good name. So, guys, as I mentioned earlier, yes, that's the one. Oh, did he say that on that same thing? Quote on the way talking about taking a bullet out of Willie Boy's. Okay. I read that wrong the first time. Really? That's kind of odd. Why would he do that? Thank you, G78. Appreciate it. It's people like you that have helped me. Very cool how you brought in the pick on HCR. Many in this field don't help others grow. It's hard enough I could imagine helping hands. Yeah, yeah, that is true. That is true. A lot of people, I don't know. Let me see something here. Yeah. Listen, if you're nice to me and I have a bigger channel than you, of course, I'll help you for sure. I don't have a huge channel. If you look at it in a broad scale, I don't even have the biggest channel in this genre. There's others with bigger channels, and that's fine. But I am somebody who honestly say that, like, I in this journey on YouTube, I certainly have not gotten any help from anybody. If anything, I have gotten emails with people where it looks like we were going to work and we were going to help each other, and those people disappear and I never hear from them again. So this is really like me doing this on my own. Like I said, I mean, I have collaborated with people, of course, but I'm here because of you guys. There's no content creators out there that has helped me, or no. So I really appreciate it, and you guys, it's all because of you guys and gals here. 100%. I remember when you first started New C. What is Fountain Avenue Dump? Now it's State Park. Yes. The Fountain Avenue Dump is a park. One of my really early videos. I was thinking about going back and like redoing the audio on it. You guys want to hear something really funny, man? When I first started, and this just goes to show you anything, guys. Like when you want to get into something, like don't think about it too much. And I'm just saying this from personal Jeff and Nadu. So this guy, I don't know if he's still here, but this guy, in my opinion, has the best channel in the mob or we'll say the mob genre. I think Jeff has the best channel. Some people say it's OC Shorts or whatever. I think it's Jeff and Nadu. There's a lot of reasons that I think it is Jeff. Because I think that when you have a channel in this genre, in what do you want to call it, MobTube or whatever you want to call it, I think it's more than just doing uploads and saying goodbye. I think you have to do interviews, you have to do live streams, you have to be present, you have to talk to your audience, and you have to let them know that you're in fact alive and not like just putting up a fucking upload and you never hear from anybody. So I think Jeff does all of those things, and then he has other things that he's been involved in, whatever it's Barstool or whatever. So he's kind of got his own he's a personality, he's like a media personality basically. So I think that all of that combined, in my opinion, makes Jeff the best in the genre. And then OC Shorts might be number 2, but people will probably be mad that I said that, but whatever. Very kind. That's really nice. I just try to put the good stuff. I really have a passion. No, you do 100%, man. 110%, man. And you show it, and you do all types of things, So yeah, I said it. Jeff is number one. Manny Grossman, the son of Sam, professional in all of the world, the foremost professional in all things David Berkowitz. There he is. Yeah, Anthony Center will be released from prison. Episode 1 of The Pick is out tomorrow on my channel. Me and Pete the Pick LaFrosia, somebody who was indicted with Pete LaFrosia, indicted with Anthony Center, who sat next to him in court, who was a character in the book Murder Machine. My friend Pete the Pick LaFrosia, episode 1 of what we're calling The Pick at this point. I don't know. It's going to be out tomorrow on my channel. It's a 40-minute conversation. You're going to get Pete's feelings on Anthony getting out. I spoke to Pete a couple of weeks ago and I said, "Hey, Pete, did you hear about this whole thing with Anthony?" And he's like, in his voice, "I've been hearing a couple of things, I've been hearing things here and there, the way he talks." So he said, "I've been hearing a couple of things." And Pete has always had it in the back of his mind. Even like 2 years ago when I spoke to him, doing Pete's voice killed my throat. Even like 2 years ago when I first started talking to Pete, he's like, I don't really say anything because I have it in my mind that they're going to get out one day or whatever. So, and then I called him 2 days ago and I said, "Pete, Anthony's getting out. It's 100%. I said, "Your best friend, Jerry Capisi, confirmed it." He doesn't like Jerry Capisi, obviously. He's getting out. And he was extremely happy, of course. And we're having the conversation. It's already been recorded. And I know that some people are not going to like what Pete has to say. Of course, because looking at it from being civilians, as most of us are, Pete D knows Pete in real life as well. Looking at it from being a civilian, from being somebody who's law abiding, who is not a mobster or a criminal or whatever it is, a normal person should think that Anthony should never get out, right? I mean, what did he go down for? 8 to 10 murders. If you look at some of the lists out there, maybe he's involved in 30 to 50. Some would say 50, 30. Who really knows? But Pete was his friend, so you're not going to get anything negative out of him. And people are not going to like that. I already can feel it. So I don't know. I don't want to go on and on about it, but you guys are going to watch it tomorrow. I know you guys are going to watch it. Anthony Center is really getting out. Wow. Yeah, he's getting out of prison. Is Joey Testa getting out? I don't know. It seems like he would be getting out. I mean, if Anthony's getting out. If you guys want to check my last live stream with why is Henry Borelli still in prison, you guys could check that out. Corruption Connection. Your documentary on DeVernon LeGrand was very well done. I came across his name in the book Homicide on my business. Is that right? Yeah, I still have to do part 3 of that. I'm slacking big time. So part 1 and part 2 of DeVernon LeGrand, the Bishop of Crown Heights, is out on my channel. You guys should check that out. It's probably the most interesting, underreported, unreal cases in American history. You guys want to talk about cults? You guys want to talk about murderers? You guys want to talk about brainwashing, hypnosis? It all happened in Brooklyn. And it ended in the 1970s. And it had to do with Bishop DeVernon LeGrand, a man who fathered as many as 50 children, a man who dismembered women and buried them upstate. One of the most bizarre, underreported cases in American history. All those guys' names, snitches and bitches. Yeah. Oh, Roy DeMayo's here. What's up, man? How are you? How's 6 Feet Under treating you? As you know, I am a fan of the DeMayo crew. You're a fan of the DeMayo crew. Well, if you're a fan, then you should be happy. A fan. I haven't seen you in a while, DeMayo crew 666 guru. So you're a fan, but you're sickened by Anthony getting out. Well, you should be happy if you're a fan. You should be happy. The Twins are not charged with the Lucchese hits. Yeah, exactly. Casso rattled on that. He certainly rattled on Joey Testa. If you look at when he was talking about the gas scam stuff, I actually did a video where I narrated everything that Anthony Center said in relation to the gas scam stuff. And one of the people asked him basically about Testa, implying that he murdered Vladimir Reznikov, and he goes, "Well, was he ever charged with it?" And Castro's like, "No, he wasn't charged with it," but he's basically acknowledging that Testa murdered Vladimir Reznikov in 1986. It was actually Friday the 13th. Which Friday that was, I believe May or June, something like that, or July. One of 3 Friday the 13th murders that Roy DeMeo crew members had to do with. 3. Isn't that interesting? That's like saying you're a fan of Dahmer. Well, I don't know if it's the same, but it's, yeah. Yeah, a cult leader in Brooklyn, his corruption connection says, yes, a cult leader in Brooklyn, a legitimate cult leader. Hey, you know what's funny about, well, it's not funny about DeVernon LeGrand, but I'll tell you about that DeVernon LeGrand shit, man. You guys are going to, I'm going to fucking tell you guys something crazy right now. So first of all, I started getting more traffic to that DeVernon LeGrand video because somebody did something on Instagram in relation to DeVernon LeGrand. So in that video got like 100 and something hits. And then people went to my channel and discovered that somebody on YouTube actually did a real story on it. So they started watching it. Now, one of the reasons why I didn't want to do the DeVernon LeGrand story to begin with was because I live in New York City, and DeVernon LeGrand had a reported 50 children. So what does that tell you? That there's fucking kids and grandkids all over the place. Some of those children became murderers themselves. So I said, all right, if I'm going to do this, man, there's a good chance that like one of these kids or one of these people, they're going to fucking come after me, right? So since then, I mean, if you go on that video now, I have family members talking shit to me. There's a couple of them on there. As far as I know, on Instagram, there's family members on that Instagram sticking up for their father, you know, talking shit to people. And I spoke on the phone to one of his daughters. I won't say her name, but I had contacted her. I found her number, and I left a message on her voicemail. And later that day, she called me. We had a conversation. And it was an interesting conversation. And what I took away from it was that, you know, although she seemed very nice, you could take somebody out of a cult sometimes. You could take somebody out of a cult, but you can't take the cult out of somebody. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you. So that's what I took away from the conversation with this woman. You can take somebody away from a cult, but you can't take the cult away permanently. And it was actually pretty sad to come to that realization. But, you know, I guess you got to love your father, right? I don't know what to say. And since then, she has, I believe, unfriended me on Facebook. Last I checked, and so she probably saw the story that I did. You are fearless. Well, I don't know if I am, but I got to tell you that I am still kind of weary that I did that story. And I started typing up part 3 of that story, and it's already starting to be much worse than part 1 and 2 because we get into the real nastiness. Murder. There is someone in a high profile place that tells the truth of what there is someone in a high profile place that tells the truth of what you say. What is that? I wondered if you live in New York, you ever run into any of these people that you do a show on and they say something, or you know, I always think about that, Jared. I think about that all the time. Maybe one of these people's kids or one of these people or whatever are going to say something to me, or they're going to threaten me, or because as you know, like here I am, here's my face. I'm making no secret. I live in New York City, right? I walk in these neighborhoods all the time. I film in these neighborhoods. Ozone Park, East New York, Canarsie, Flatlands. These are all neighborhoods that I walked in a lot of the times by myself, filming these things, talking about these things. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do? Be careful. I will, but it comes with it. I don't know if Jeff's here. He's probably not here anymore, but, you know, I know he has gotten in trouble for saying things and covering certain things, and people have probably written him emails or have gotten mad at him for covering certain things, but he still does it. So, it is what it is. Yeah, okay. That's the last person I'm fucking worried about. Give me a break. Ginny Thomas was a cult member and helped others get out of them. Now she's in another cult. It's hard to escape that stuff, man. You could be like decades removed from it, and you know. OG Mike, what's going on? Oh, where the hell is Loomis? JM Licks method. What the fuck? JM Licks methadone needles. What's going on? Thank you. I don't think that'll happen. That'll be interesting. Here, have you ever had any problems in regards to any? No, I haven't. I haven't. So once again, the only problem I've had is that family of DeVarno LeGrand has left comments on my video. And from what I can tell, they're on Instagram sticking up for their father and arguing with people, the last I checked. So, I mean, I don't know. Will I? 125 million%, but I probably won't be able to. Yeah, John A. Light, he can get really unhinged. He doesn't want anybody. It's almost like if you do a story on A. Light, you got to like run it by him or something, or don't do it at all. You got to run it by John A. Light first, or you can't do the story. Give me a fucking break. Will you try to interview? Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, though. Yes. That's why I'm hesitant to do a remote. That's funny, Mike. The truth hurts them. Yeah. It's sad. I really wonder what Anthony is going to do with himself as a free man. I wonder if he will go back into crime. No, I highly doubt that, dude. No way. No, he's probably going to be on life parole. They're going to watch everything he does. They're going to see who he's talking to. They don't want him to be consorting with any felons. And that's the reason why Pete can't talk to him. Pete will probably never talk to him. He can't. Unless for some miraculous reason, Anthony's not on parole for life. But I highly doubt it. If you ever need to go on the list, I can hide you out in the Midwest. Wear the hat. Hunting and fishing is mandatory. 100%, man. 100%. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, he's talking about Gianni Russo, Mark Encinas. Gianni Russo. The guy. Gianni Russo, if you guys don't know, Gianni Russo said to Vlad that he was in the hospital as a kid. He had polio, and there was a doctor in that hospital that was apparently touching kids, and Gianni Russo took a broomstick or some kind of pole and shoved it into the guy, and the pole went out the guy's back, and the blood splattered all over the walls like it was Kill Bill. And yeah, okay. And he murdered somebody. He got kidnapped by Pablo Escobar. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, we all know that. Nobody's gonna fuck with you. I hope not. I hope not. You know what people got mad about? Yes. You know what people got mad about? And the only time that I actually felt weird about doing a video location was when I went to the Carneglia Brothers junkyard on Fountain Avenue, 651 Fountain Avenue. And you know what people got mad about my last upload when I went back to Ozone Park and I was walking around and I was talking about Charles Carneglia and talking about him. He was never charged for it. He was indicted for it, but he was never convicted of the murder of Albert Gelb, the 25-year-old court officer, who by all accounts, he murdered or had something to do with his murder. He also killed an armored truck guard at JFK Airport, a father of two who was just working as a truck guard at JFK. And Charles Carneglia figured that, we'll just fucking shotgun this guy to death. Reportedly with Bobby Borriello and Kevin McMahon. And I said something at the end of that last video with the Albert Gelb incident, where I went to the diner on Crossway Boulevard, and then I went to the spot where Albert Gelb was killed in Richmond Hill. And I said some, I guess, scathing comments about Charles Carneglia. And people got fucking mad about that, man. People got mad about that. And the reason why Albert got killed, it all stemmed from some kind of fight he got into with Charles, because you saw Charles Carneglia was loaded with 2 guns, and they got into this argument, and I guess Albert Gelb was trying to be some sort of a hero. And the amount of comments that I saw where it's like, Albert Gelb had it coming. Yeah, he had it coming. And then a couple of other people like, oh, you're judging, stop judging people, this and that. A lot of people got mad about that video because I made a statement in reference to characters such as Charles Carneglia and the type of person who I believe he is, based on what he's done and based on and you see a lot of people coming up now talking. You see like friends of people who he's killed appearing on all these shows randomly recently. I don't know who these guys are, but it is what it is, man. People will get mad for you to say things, and they'll make excuses. It'll even make excuses for a 25-year-old getting murdered senselessly for no fucking reason. They'll say he had it coming. Okay, if that's how you want to live, if that's what you want to believe, okay, that's up to you, buddy. That was the scariest video you ever did. What video? The Carneglia one? Really? Thank you. That's pretty cool. Yeah. When the wise guys, connected guys did a job in the heydays, did they wear masks, or did they have the audacity not to wear masks? Oh, I think like the ski mask is always a staple of murder. I mean, some of them probably didn't, but back then they didn't have like cameras everywhere and everything else. He told one of our guests, Derek G, he didn't do the Gelb hit. Oh, did he do it? Like, did he do it himself? Maybe not. Did he have something to do with it? I would say, God, strike me fucking dead right now if he didn't. I know God's not going to strike me dead regardless, but that's how much I believe. OG Mike, there's no reason for a 24-year-old court officer living his life, doing his thing, to be assassinated inside his vehicle, followed home, pulled over, and assassinated. There's no reason for that. Except for the reason that he got into the fight with Charles Carneglia. After that argument, he was getting prank calls at his house. He was constantly getting threatened, and the court case was looming. It was coming up very soon, for the incident between them. And he gets assassinated in his own way. So who did it? Who would have done that? I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Peter Zaccaro, Bud Zaccaro, would say that Charles Carneglia did keep keepsakes of his murders on the property of the junkyard in a place that was referred to as the barn at 651 Fountain Avenue. Yeah, that place is creepy. Albert tried to arrest Charlie Connect with 2 guns. Either he tried to arrest him or the story goes that he said, hey, like, listen, was he trying to be a hero? Should he have done that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But to say, on the other hand, that he had it coming, like he should have been assassinated and shot 7 times for that. I mean, if you believe that, then I'll pray for you. They got into a fight. We got into a physical altercation. Yeah. The video you did at the marsh was weird too. Which one was that? Oh, at the hole. Yeah, once again, that was said by, I think, Peter Bud Zaccaro. He said that he would keep mementos in a place he called the barn. It was senseless. He tried to arrest Charlie Carneglia for the 2 guns. He tried to stop him or ask him if he was like a cop or why he had like 2 guns on him. And they got into a physical altercation. They started fighting, and then the cops came, and then it turned into this whole fucking thing. Yeah, it's silly, Brett with 2 T's. That is correct, Jesse Escobar. I mean, would he admit it? Would he admit it? I don't know. Of course not. Yeah, of course not. He wouldn't admit it. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't around to see that. I have during that upload I did with the Canary Guys, I put up a lot of photos from the 80s website, and those are some creepy fucking photos of that spot. Pretty creepy. That's what Michael Francis says, IH Farmer, according to Francis. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, according to the wine merchant. There you go. That place is very creepy. You could feel an evil vibe just watching the video. Are you talking about the hole, Jared, or are you talking about the junkyard? The guy didn't deserve to die, but he should have never tried to play cops, especially given the fact that he knew Charlie. No, I don't think he knew who Charlie was. That's the point. I don't think he knew who he was. Now, growing up where he did, Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, he should have known that this guy might have been connected, or he might have been a wise guy, and he probably should have just shut his mouth. 100%. 100%. I could agree with that. I could agree with that. Yeah. Junkyard felt evil. It's funny you say that, Jared, because that's a video early on that I did that I felt very weird when I did that video. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And I think I said it in somebody who had me on my channel. They asked me a question, and I said, to be honest with you, I did this video recently, and I kind of feel weird that I did it, and I don't know, because I live in Queens, and it was a weird one, and yeah. And at that time, John Cornelia is no longer in prison. He was released in 2019. Not that he cares, but who knows? You hit it right on the head, buddy. That's how it all started. I'm saying this to you because I was in the diner that night with my girl. Wow. Is that true? Wow. Is that really true? I'm kind of shocked if that's true. I don't know what to say. Wow. And the story goes that Charlie was coming from Tommy DeSimone's wedding, actually. No, I never heard. He's community. One thing you can say, Charlie kept quiet and kept true to the code he lived by. Yeah, but I would say that everything you hear about him from other people, I mean, I think he was, I don't know. I'm telling you that he knew who Charlie Canoe was. He didn't know he was. I'm telling you that he knew who Charlie was. He didn't know who he was. I'm telling you that he knew who Charlie Caniglia was. He didn't know who he was. You're saying two different things there, Nelson. Can you just write that again? Oh, you're saying he did know who he was. Yeah, I'm not going to question you, Nelson, because you said you were there and you're from the neighborhood, but I also wonder, did he though? Because this is a nerdy guy who, by the age of 23, 24, was a court officer. He's probably playing it straight. He's just some whatever kid. Did he though? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the nut jobs in my area, and there's definitely some, but I mean, is that a rule? Is that really a rule that everybody knows everybody? Even if you're some straight laced, I mean, because look at the pictures of him. He's like a straight laced dude, nerdy, kind of whatever. Hey, Nisi, do you know his release can be blocked by your governor there in California? Here, our governor can block and would never do it. Can it be blocked? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's the hearsay. That's what's said, Gennaro. That video you did on trying to get the old instruments was one of the best videos ever. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I wish I could still use that intro video. I can't. That son of a bitch. The guy Gil walked up to Charlie asking him about the guns, asking him if he had a permit, and one thing led to Charlie. Yeah, that's what is apparently the story that I know it to be. You saying you were there. That's something else that I apparently know to be, supposedly. You kind of know who's who in the neighborhood. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I didn't grow up back then, so I guess I don't know what to say. All I could say is that, in my opinion, and you guys grew up there, so you know better than I. But in my opinion, I just don't think it's a general rule that I mean everybody has to know everybody in a neighborhood, you know. But okay, I mean, okay, I mean, I don't know. He knew who Charlie Canary was. Peter Cetera. You mean Peter Zaccaro? Peter Bud Zaccaro? Yeah, he was there. That's my opinion, Pete. Like a straight laced person who has nothing to do with anything. I mean, you might know. I mean, but does that mean you know every fucking hoodlum in the neighborhood? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I think that I know it's kind of the same kind of area, but I think that Albert Gubb lived in Richmond Hill. Even though they're very, I know they're very close. It's like Bayside, Whitestone, Flushing. They're kind of so close. Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, Howard Beach. They're kind of like, but I don't know. I'll take what you say. If you feel that way, that's fine. I wouldn't argue on it. I just have an opinion. Bruno, agree. My neighborhood in Belfast, 80s, we knew all the guys who wore it didn't mess. Okay. Apparently, Anthony's. No, I would say that he should have assumed that it's 1974. This guy has two guns. He looks a certain way. He's got these other hoodlums at a table over there that he's talking to. You should probably assume that this guy is bad fucking news. And maybe you should just continue eating your cheeseburger and go home. Okay. I believe it. When I was a kid living in Mass, my parents told me about the people who owned a bakery down the street. It was owned by Joe Messino. There you go. There you go. How'd you come up with your MSC Crime Spot logo? That's a picture. That's Carlo Gambino's mugshot with Alfred E. Newman's face on it. That's all it is, really, with my graffiti tags on it. Yeah. Nothing too special. And it came back to get him, unfortunately, and he paid with his life. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Which is the reality of the situation. But I don't like when people come on my video and say, he had it coming. He should have shut his fucking mouth. Realize the magnitude of what you're saying when you say he had it coming. Like, if you were there that day and you saw that, would you say to the person sitting next to you, you know what? I think this guy, he's probably going to get shot 7 times in his car. You know what? I think he has it coming. I got to be honest with you. Would you actually fucking say that to somebody? I mean, just use your fucking brain. Stop being an idiot. I don't care if Gelb knew him or not. He didn't. There you go. There you go. It's one thing to say somebody's foolish or maybe they should have shut up, but to seriously sit there and say, yeah, this 24-year-old kid, he had it coming. He should be shot 7 times for that. I mean, stop it already. Because of reputations, managers go wide and far in Eastern Europe was when there was a big cast of characters that everybody knew about. All right. Like I said, I'm going to take your word for it. I just would have thought about it a certain way, I would have assumed differently. People would say they are probably people who would say that are probably wannabes. Yeah, it's the same people that come on here and get mad when people say certain things about criminals, and I don't know. It's usually the people who are like going after the rats all the time, and they like to pretend that they know something about that life, and this and that, and rat this, rat that, informant this, informant that. If you're a part of that life and fine, that's fine, but to sit here and pretend that you have some kind of like some kind of skin in the game and like this is affecting your life, that some murderer rattled on a murderer that rattled on another murderer that rattled on another murderer, like that affects your life somehow. You look like a fucking lunatic. You're absolutely right. You look nuts. You literally look nuts. I meant to say, how did you come up with the Mad TV Kid face logo? Oh yeah, no, I just did like a Photoshop thing. I took Alfred E. Newman's face, which is the face from Mad Magazine or Mad TV. Alfred E. Newman is the name. And I just put it over Carla Gambino's mugshot. Oh, no, no, no. I understand what you're saying. I understand 100% what you're saying, Nelson. And of course, I could never fully grasp because I didn't grow up back then. My family is from that area, East New York. They moved all over Brooklyn at one point in East New York. And my uncle would tell me that's really funny. That's right as I'm saying that. This is my uncle. He grew up in East New York through 1977, Nelson. So, my uncle, I'm not saying my uncle who's right here in the chat is like some nerdy guy or whatever, but generally just a straight laced regular guy, right? You know, and I could tell you right now that my uncle wouldn't know these fucking names if his life depended on it. I know that for a fact that he doesn't know who these people are. And that's kind of where my opinion comes from, Nelson. That I think that if you're a certain type of person, if you're into certain things, or if you're hanging out in the street a lot and you're around certain people, some 2 or 3 degrees of separation, then you're probably, I don't know. You're probably not going to hear about these people. So here's my uncle. He lived East New York from 67 to 77, prime time years. That's why I'm bothering to talk to you, because you have a humble opinion. You're not out here trying to enforce your willing and a bunch of shit that you wouldn't know anything. Of course, Nelson, and I've never say that I know better or worse about anything. If anything, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand, and that goes along with what I do when I walk the streets in these neighborhoods a lot, and I film these neighborhoods, and I like to show people overseas, like G78, who's in the chat, in Ireland, or people in England, or people in other parts of the United States that are never going to see these neighborhoods. That's another reason why I go here, kind of to walk these streets, to kind of really see what happened in these areas, and kind of to feel the neighborhoods and learn as much as I can about it. And I'm not trying to be a certain way about it. I'm a civilian. I work a regular job. I do this, and I'm not a tough guy by any means. But yeah, my uncle, guy who was in the Gemini Lounge a couple of times, as he told me, just to watch Monday Night Football. Nothing serious. My uncle, another humble guy, he would tell me that he was there a couple of times, not just, here we go. Oh, he says it right here. I even drank with my friends at Gemini Lounge without knowing what the fuck was going on. Yeah. 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 No, I'm telling you, just from knowing my uncle, that he doesn't know anything about those guys or anything about that. But once again, my uncle, kind of being more of a straight-laced guy as a young guy, working, going to Manhattan, going to work, coming home, doing whatever he was doing. As he said right here, though, he did once in a while drink with his friends at the Gemini, or go to see Monday Night Football, as he would tell me. But he had no idea. Like he says, he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He didn't find out, like many other people didn't find out till like the 1990s. But hold on a second. What the hell happened here? Oh, Nelson. But Nelson, I'm not saying that what you feel is wrong by any means. By any means, I think that you're right to a large extent. I think you're probably right that many people did know who these people were. I think you're 100% right, and it makes 100% sense. But I think that some people, like some straight laced regular dudes, it's a good chance that they didn't. And I think that it's also a good chance that Albert Gelb probably had some kind of hero complex where he was like a hero. You know, I dealt with those guys growing up with my friends on the streets. You had guys that lived on your block, or when you saw that guy over there, like, oh, don't do anything because this fucking guy will call the cops if you sneeze at him the wrong way, you know? So there's those people out there with the hero complexes, you know? And I assume that Gelb was one of them. But once again, I can't even imagine, Nelson, what it would have been like to be in that area at that time, where, you know, the way I see it, Nelson, and this is just from research, from talking to people that were around back then, from trying my best to understand that time period in New York City history, you know, I think that life was cheap to many people. And I think that's a scary thing. When you live in a neighborhood where there's people walking around who view life as cheap, they don't take it seriously, where taking another man or woman's life is like whatever. And to aid in that, you have lack of CCTV, you have lack of security, you know, closed circuit television, you don't have cell phones everywhere, you don't have, you know, you have people in fucking stolen cars everywhere, people with junkyards, they can get rid of cars in 5 minutes. You have all these things coming together, and I could imagine that it would be a very scary to exist in that at times. My name is Brett. If you're talking Brett, Brett. And the reason why people ask me my name and I say Brett, Brett, because my whole life when I say my name Brett, people say Matt or they say Greg or they say, you know, they can't get my name. So I always say that. That's why they call it Fear City. Yeah. Yeah. That goes through any neighborhood. You know, of course, some neighborhoods were okay, right? And then you had these guys that were you had guys that were like bad people in good neighborhoods, and then you had shitty neighborhoods filled with bad people, you know? I don't know. It didn't feel like life was cheap in the neighborhood at that time. Where were you at, Pete? Were you in Brooklyn? But I have to agree with your last comment. My neighborhood in the 80s was full of killers. You're from Ireland, right? Wow. Interesting. Fear City was no joke back then. Park Slope. Okay. Okay. That's a cool area. But can you compare it to like, I don't know, Canarsie, East New York, Ozone Park? I don't know. I don't know. When I say life is cheap, I just mean that there was a lot of people out there, and we know this from history. I mean, you can even go outside the mafia. I mean, at that time, you know, there was a lot of people out there that were killing people and getting away with it, and knowing that they can get away with it because of all the other circumstances that I was telling you about before, whether it be no cell phones, no cameras, no nothing. Let me tell you, East New York and Brownsville is a very yeah. I mean, that goes back even way before fucking the times we're talking about now. You know, Murder Inc. You know, all those crazy guys. So where do you draw the line on not trying to stop something wrong when you see it happening? Where do you draw the line? Ooh. Okay. So I got to be honest. Like, if I was in a diner like Albert Gelb, once again, like, and I saw a guy who was just going about his day talking to his friends, eating a cheeseburger, and then I noticed that he had like 2 guns, I would continue eating my food. I wouldn't do that. If I see a guy on the street beating a woman up, I would do something. If I see a bunch of kids abusing another kid on the street, I would do something. In fact, that actually happened to me once. I was driving Tiger King Poppy, Flushing, Queens. Yeah, so I was in Flushing, actually, by a park by the name of Bound Park. And I was driving with my fiance, and there was an Asian couple, and there was a bunch of kids on bikes who I noticed were messing with this guy for some reason. I don't know why. They kept fucking with this dude. And I looked at my fiance and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I saw that this guy was getting mad and he was going to get himself into a situation where possibly maybe these kids would have jumped him, but he was getting very like emotionally upset. And he was looking at them and walking back towards them. And I pulled over my car and I walked up to him. I said, dude, just leave. Like, just fuck these kids. You know, their parents fucking, or they're like this, because I gave him some kind of speech. It's like, just feel bad for them, dude. And when I got out of the car and I spoke to the guy and the kids saw that, they started leaving, right? So you asked me, like, where do I draw the line in seeing something wrong and doing something? I guess I don't know. I mean, something like that, like a story that I just told you, I tried to do something. When I saw like 10 kids on bikes abusing somebody, I got out and did something. I don't know if that answers your question. If you saw a man being beat up, would you help him? If it was a one-on-one fight and I seen some guy obviously being beaten where I looked like he was maybe going to die, yeah, I probably would. I probably would pull that guy off of him. But once again, you never know in that moment. You don't know what adrenaline, you don't know what you're going to do. You really don't know. It is more risky to do something these days. Yeah. Yeah. Saying these a perfect property, the economy, no high technology, crappy lighting made it crazy. Yeah, that goes into it too. Yeah, the incident recently with the guy on the train choked that dude out to death. He held that choke way too long, in my opinion. Now, in an incident like that on the train, if I saw somebody screaming at people on a train, would I get involved? Absolutely not. If I saw a homeless lunatic smack a woman on the face on the train, smack an old man in the face on the train, kick somebody on the train, I probably would. I probably would tackle that guy to the floor and throw him off the fucking train or try to subdue him, not with a chokehold like Mr. Daniel Penny did. Yes, it is more risky to do things nowadays. Yes. What about Sherry Golden? What would you do? Come on, is that a serious question? I would call the cops, but I would run for my fucking life and tell them what I just saw. He's talking about a 19-year-old teenage girl that was shot dead while sitting in her car in front of the Gemini Lounge. If I saw Sherry Golden or somebody get murdered inside their car, I would back up and hope that nobody saw me. And I would call the cops and say, I just saw somebody get murdered at 4021 Flatlands Avenue. That's what I would do. But I would not run at people with guns. I think the common held belief in our culture is like prison mentality. If it's not a sex crime or against a child, then you're a snitch if you say something. Yeah, I mean, I don't live by that. I'm not in the life. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a mobster. I'm not any of those things. So snitching, as far as witnessing a serious crime, somebody being seriously hurt, somebody, God forbid, you witness a murder or something like that. Come on, dude. Come on. Now, being your fucking neighborhood rat where you're telling on everybody, like this guy has his garbage outside his house for 2 days longer than he should. I mean, that's another story. Johnny Favorite, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Vinny Boombots in the house. How are you? That's what I meant. Yeah, I mean, I would never approach anybody with a gun. 100% not. I wouldn't even ride the train. You know what, Ro? I don't even remember the last time I went on the train. The Long Island Railroad, but like a train, like the 7 train, the N train, the Q, whatever. I don't even remember the time. Snitch rat doesn't apply to civilians. That's how I always looked at it. I mean, you could be like your low-level neighborhood snitch, though, where everyone doesn't like you. Had a couple of those in my time. I take the train to the city to work, and I've been attacked and stopped attacks from happening. So the line is very thin getting involved because it can cost you your life. That's another thing, Jesse. That's another thing. And if I took I got to be honest with you guys, if I took the train every day to work, I would have a knife. You don't have to say if you do or you don't, Jesse, but I would most certainly have a weapon every day. And you know what? If a cop fucking stopped me for some reason and found a weapon, I'd be willing to take whatever comes at me for something like that. But you better believe that if I had to take the train every day to work, I would have something on me to protect myself. And I would take the risk of getting caught with that because, everyone's getting out of jail anyway. So who cares? Who the hell cares? I wonder if it had been a beat cop supposed to quarter up so they would still went after him. Probably not. I wouldn't say that life was viewed as cheap. It was just the price of doing business. It was almost always about money and respect. Okay. Yeah. Interesting way to look at it. But then if we go back to Charles Carneglia, the Albert Gelb incident, Jose Delgado Rivera, a armored truck guard that was shotgunned to death at JFK Airport just doing his job. Those are one of the murders that Charles went down for. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to talk about Jelly Belly, what's his name? I say Jelly Belly. Louis DeBono. I mean, that's business. What other murders? He murdered a couple of other people. Salvatore Puma, Michael Cotillo. I mean, I think those were stabbing murders. I don't know what went into those murders, but at least 2 were just regular people. I got pepper spray. Cool. We got to have something. My friend saw a woman getting beat up and tried to stop it. The guy pulled out a butcher knife and stabbed him in the liver. The guy turned out to be her husband. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. That's crazy. That is crazy. East New York, born and raised. All right. They probably looked at him as a rent-a-cop. Yeah. Why it's so hush-hush about Albert DeMeo? I don't think it's so hush-hush. I think I'm so hush-hush because out of respect, I don't. Here's the thing about that, Brian, and everybody listening. The way you have to look at Albert is a guy who, by all accounts, was mentally unwell during the last years of his life. Before he wrote that book, in interviews after the book, he admitted to having mental health problems. He admitted to contemplating suicide numerous times in his life. His father was, by all accounts, a serial killer. He's a guy who found some success in his life after writing his book, working on Wall Street, and he's a guy who, towards the end of his life, fell down a alcoholic spiral, mentally unwell, and being arrested a number of times, and basically going down a sad spiral, and ultimately taking his life. And the way that you can look at him, and the way I look at him, is Roy DeMeo's final victim. You know, over 20 years after Roy is murdered, his final victim is his son. And that's how I look at it. And that's why I don't like to, when people ask me, what happened to him, or is he alive? Did he kill himself? I just say, yeah, and I just keep talking because I genuinely feel sorry. And I know that from what I've been told in research, I know that his other children are very well. They're done well for themselves. Um, so I think if you look at him as Roy's last victim and you really analyze the way his life turned out, I think you would find that it's incredibly sad. So that's why I don't know. I don't like. There's a couple of people that came on here acting like they were breaking news that he killed himself and talking about him and this and that. Like, why would you do that? That's just me though, but it's fine. It's fine. He put himself out there by writing that book. So there's the other way to look at it. Like he made himself a public figure. He spoke about his father. He told us a lot of things that we didn't maybe know about his dad. And but at the same time, I look at him as Roy's final victim. And out of respect, I just don't like to talk about him. Roro, what did you say up top? Quiet here. More, oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, it's more about just respect. I feel terrible. I feel horrible for that. I feel terrible about that situation. I don't even know the guy. Um, yeah, Jesse James. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I feel bad because, especially now, you see what I'm doing right now, what other people are doing on YouTube, with the mob tube or they're talking about organized crime. I think that he could have been successful today, very successful in having his own show and having his own platform. And I think he would have a tremendous platform, a very huge platform. And I think that people with other huge platforms would welcome him with open arms on their platform. And he could have had something really good for himself. But unfortunately, it would seem that, like I said, mental illness, addiction, and everything else. Kids not deserve to pay for sins of any father, Brian. Yeah, Uncle Robin. And for the sins of my father happens to be the name of his book. And it's sad. Yeah, it's horrible. What do you think about the commissioner? What commissioner? What commissioner are you speaking of? The police commissioner, Big Pin? Cheers to you, National Jones. MSM, fake news. That's funny. I prefer to call it the corporate press instead of mainstream media. The corporate press. I think it's different for daughters and sons and their fathers. Yeah, it could be, especially when you have a father like that, where it's like true, like man's kind of world, right? I don't know, Big Pin. I don't know what to think. What do I think about the police commissioner? I don't know. I think everybody's hands are tied, to be honest with you, Big Pin. I think if people that actually want to make a difference can't make a difference. That's all I'll say. And I try not to get too political on here, but I think that due to some of the political climate in New York City, it's very hard to make any necessary changes, at least at this point in time. And then when people want to make changes, they might even go too far. Like people say, like we need a Giuliani figure again, but maybe that's going too far. But we need some kind of middle ground, and I don't think we have a middle ground. And I think New York City is all about having a middle ground. You're not supposed to go too far in either direction. That's my opinion. No, I know that, Brian. No, I know that. That is more accurate than mainstream media. Yeah, I think the corporate press is more accurate than mainstream media. I think if anything, YouTube is more mainstream than what you see on television. The middle's getting smaller. Yeah, yeah. So I don't cover anything outside of New York City. Changala. There's New York City crime spot. Everything is New York City. I was going to start another channel, just a general crime channel. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's a good idea. But I heard somebody got whacked over there today. I was watching Jeff Nadeau's show earlier. He was talking about it. Crazy. They're still whacking people in broad daylight in Montreal. Unbelievable. Why is that? They can't do that here. Why are they doing that there? Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. Let's see. Yeah, we need some help. We certainly need some help. I'm kind of insulated where I live, and I don't really go, Oh, that's right. Noriko. That is right. Yeah. Those guys are in bed with like the Hells Angels, right? Hells Angels and the Rizzutos and all that other shit. They have no RICO laws in Canada. Definitely. Yeah, there you go. Any chance of getting in Roy's house to see what it's like, or are they pissed? Yeah, they got pissed at me. They got pissed at me. I mean, even after that, like going to the house over there, I suppose I'm contributing in a way to, keeping some of that story alive by even going to that house and covering it. But I don't know. I guess it's journalism to a certain extent. But I don't think I'm going to be able to get in there. Those people are there's something weird going on over there. Law enforcement is 10 years behind our law enforcement. What is ours? Where are you from? DeMail Crew 666 Guru. An idiot is more like it. Hey Nelson, were you here from the beginning? Because I want to ask you a question. If you, let me know how long you've been here. If you saw everything I was talking about with Eric Ulrich, because I want your opinion on that. So for those who were not here from the beginning, I was talking about Eric Ulrich, the former New York City Buildings Commissioner, being indicted for taking money and kind of like taking money and doing favors for Mafia associates in Ozone Park. Of course, he was on the city council in Ozone Park he won 3 elections for that area, and then Eric Adams put him on the team as an advisor, and then he became the building's commissioner. And other than being indicted recently for not only taking money from mob associates, he was also caught gambling at 8902 101st Avenue in Ozone Park, what seems to be some sort of social club. It is the former social club of Ciro Perone. And 2 of the people he was doing favors for are the current owners of this place, Aldo's Pizzeria. Here is Ulrich with the original owner of Aldo's, Aldo Calore. This is about 10 years or so ago when he was, they had a 50-year anniversary. Of course, many might know that in the early 2000s when Ronnie One-Arm Trucchio was being indicted, he would be outed as being on the books as an employee at Aldo's. Not only was Ulrich taking money and doing favors for mob associates, but over the past 10 years, he has written letters for 2 different mob associates who were indicted with a bunch of other guys. He has written letters for judges for them saying how they were great guys, they're good guys. So he's gambling with these guys. He's taking money from these guys. He is doing favors for these guys at a high level, and he is writing letters to judges for these guys. So obviously the name of this video is Mob Associate, or is he simply just some kind of mob lackey? What is your opinion on that? Would like to know. What is your opinion on that? No, that nobody in that family. If I knew that, I would certainly not go there, but no. No. Email NYC. Yes, email me, people. Ask me what's going on. Email me anytime. Canadian. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I've been to Aldo's before. Once. Just once. And I'll probably never go there again. I think I'm banned now after this upload. I'm fucking banned for life. I gotta go in there with a mask on. Yeah, so he's from Ozone. The only way I have a little bit of a problem with that is he's from Ozone Park. He grew up there. He's been elected 3 times to city council. Dating back as far as 10, 11, 12 years ago, he was writing letters in support of some of these guys way before he was on high level with Adams. Then he's, like I said, receiving money from them, and then he is gambling with them at a fucking social club. A little odd. In their own neighborhoods, they realized most potential witnesses weren't going to talk to law enforcement out of fear or misguided support. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I've thought about that too, man. Where is that thing at? Where is that automobile? Where is that automobile? And then for anyone just joining us, I spoke about this also. I spoke about one of Eric Adams's donors, a guy who got in trouble for donating to his campaign. This guy here. Vinny Boombots, you're going to like this because I don't think you were here when I spoke about this. This is an article from April 7th, 2021. Eric's racketeer donor flagged by Watchdog. His $4,000 exceeded legal limit. Anthony Volpes Jr. was donating this money to Eric Adams, $2,000 on 2 occasions. Adams said he was going to refund it. I don't know the extent of Anthony Volpes Jr. and Eric Adams' relationship. I don't know what that is, if any relationship. Why would this guy feel so compelled to donate this money to Adams is interesting. Anthony Volpes Jr. Who is Anthony Volpes Jr.? Anthony Volpes Jr. is the son of Anthony Volpes Sr., who him and his brother Dominic owned a karting company. And they are the uncles of one Anthony Center, making the guy that donated to Adams, Anthony Center's cousin. And for those of you who know, it would be this karting company that would often pick up the garbage at the Gemini Lounge to bring it to the Fountain Avenue dump. Very interesting stuff, isn't it? Mobster supporting a former big time for cop. Nothing to see there. Yeah. Yep. Politics, just legal rackets anyway. And they could have made that article I just showed you all the more interesting if they included that information that I just told you. It would have made Adams look even worse. But who wants to hear about dismembered bodies being taken to a city dump? Nobody wants to hear about that, right? Yes, interesting. Albert, yes, that is an interesting interview that you guys can find on my channel. It originally appeared on I think NPR. Refresh my memory because I wrote a long time ago. You wrote a long time ago. What do you mean by that, Nelson? I think Senator is going to be very quiet. Yes, he will be very quiet. Definitely does not look good, no. Hey, Uncle Robin, I don't know if you know, Anthony Center, one half of the Gemini twins, is getting parole. I don't know if you know that. Oh, my man, Gunsmoke the Don, $9.99. Thank you so much, my bro. Thank you so much. I meant to talk to you because you were talking about something in your chat earlier, something that I kind of, I don't say I was involved in, but I was there, and something a little fucking weird that went on. Maybe I hit you on Instagram, but thank you, buddy. I really appreciate. Roro, can you do me a favor? Gunsmoke the Don. Can you just drop his channel link if you have a second? Neighborhood Paisan, Mr. Gunsmoke. North Queens Legends. NYC Crime Spot, Gunsmoke the Don. Yes, that is true. After 35 years, he's getting parole. Thank you once again, Gunsmoke, for your generous donation. I really appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. Listen to Brett. According to the waitresses and the manager of the restaurant, Albert Gelb used to act like he was a cop. I believe it. I believe you, Nelson. I believe it. He certainly had a hero complex. All right, thank you, bro. Yeah, because that was weird. And that guy, listen, I have somewhat of a rapport with that guy. I mean, I guess he seems to like me. I mean, I don't have a problem with him, but the point of that show is not to have was not what happened. He just came on and he's telling me, "Oh, I know a guy that you talk to in a chat, and that I could prove this and that." And then I told the guy, I said, "Oh, I never even fucking talked to that guy." But whatever, we don't have to talk about it here. Fucking bizarre situation. That's all I. And everyone here is like walking, like, "What is going on? What is going? What are you talking about?" He was wired, though. He was wired for sure. Mayor Beam was the worst. Yeah. Fear City days. So Gunsmoke, yeah, you don't like Eric Adams. You heard about Eric Ulrich, right? When he got indicted recently. This clown indicted for hanging out with the mob, gambling with the mob, doing favors for the mob, taking money from the mob, hanging out at Aldo's Pizza, hanging out, gambling at the former spot of Ciro Perone's social club. You heard about this shit, bro? I always thought a federal life sentence meant life. I'm confusing how they. Yeah. Yeah. In the U.S., you have capital punishment. Also, life means life. Life in Canada is only 20 to 25 max, which is what you'll receive in the most brutal of cases. You can get consecutive for multiples. Okay, I get that. All right. Yeah. I think in some of like I don't know, what is it, like Sweden or I don't know, the Nordic countries. I don't know if they have life there either. I don't think they look at it the same. There you go, guys. There's the link. Hit that link or you'll be banned from the channel for life. Yeah, he was amped up. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that already. Yeah, he might be for something. What they're getting his cell phones or whatever, this and that. Listen, I don't get political in this channel, but that guy is really fucking arrogant, dude. He's an arrogant character. He is very arrogant. But I don't know. Whatever. Back-to-back legends as mayors. De Blasio, now Adams. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Eric Ulrich. He was going to be a priest. Yeah. Center getting released. How? I don't know. It's a hot topic. It's a very hot topic. I agree. He doesn't have the temperament to be mayor. Yeah, he's a very strange guy. And then what was that thing when he had the incident where he was talking shit to like the Holocaust survivor woman, calling her like, I know you look at me like a slave or something. Like, what are you fucking nuts, dude? Come on. Why does somebody? I don't know. I don't know, Jared. Hey, Crime Spot, you talking about Anthony Center at all? Yeah, people love talking about Anthony Center. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me see, guys. Should I give you guys a sneak peek? Can I do this? Am I ruining it? Am I ruining it if I give you guys a sneak peek of tomorrow's interview? If I can get like 10 yeses in the chat, if I should like give you guys a sneak peek, maybe I'll give you guys a sneak peek of tomorrow's interview. I remember that he said he's nobody's slave. It's like, bro, you're an elected official. You work for the system. Exactly. He's a strange guy. He's a very strange guy. All right. So Pete says no. All right. Pete says no. Yes. 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 No, save it. All right. I might have to save it, guys. I might have to save it. Give up the sneak peek. Wow, there's a lot of yeses, man. I can't go out. Oh, man. He must have told something. How else could he get out? I don't know. I don't think he did. I have to look into it. I went on the Pacer, the federal website, and I've been going like weekly to see if there's anything new about it. And I don't know. All right, I got like 29 yeses. All right, so let me a sneak peek won't hurt. Okay, yeah. So tomorrow I'm putting out and it's not like like it's not earth shattering, but it's cool though. Hey, Funhouse, thank you so much for the 4.99. Really appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. What kind of dog is that? Is that a pit bull? Looks like a fun dog. Thank you so much, Funhouse. I don't know if I've ever seen you here before. That makes it all the better. You just checking in, donating. I really appreciate that. Save it. It's one more day. What I already said 10 likes, and I got like 25 likes here. Let me see. Fuck. I'm a dick. Hold on a second. I don't even know if I could, guys, though, to be honest with you. I shouldn't have said that. Let me look at my YouTube. Let me see. Let me see what's here. You know what? I don't even know if I could do it. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. What I'll have to do is this. Hold on. Sorry. Dead air for a minute. You guys talk. I want to figure something out. Or anywhere really publicly. All right, guys. Hold on a second. Sorry. So the problem is when I open yo, Don E, yo, what's going on? Yes. No, go ahead. We'll wait. So the problem is for some reason when I open up my YouTube on this browser, it goes into my YouTube studio. I don't know why that is, but I think I have figured this out, a way that I could do this. Just give me 1 second. I shouldn't even be doing this, but whatever. All right, guys. No. I'm not editing. Democracy says yes. Okay. I'll give you guys a look. I give you like 2 minutes. So tomorrow I'm putting out what is episode 1. Right now it's just going to be called The Pick. I don't know what to call it. Episode 1 with Pete the Pick LaFrosia, former Roy DeMeo crew member, a man who was indicted with them, a man who sat with them on trial, a man who's been accused, unfortunately, of some very bad things. It is what it is, but he didn't get convicted of some very bad things. He went away for 5 years in reference to the Empire Boulevard operation. In his life, he has spent about 22 years in prison for numerous other charges. This matters to some people, so I will say it. He's not a rat. He's never informed. He is extremely stand-up gentleman. So let me see if this will work. And this is going to be good, guys, because you could actually hear Pete in this interview. And I'm going to send him a mic and hook him up with other things. Is everybody still here that said yes? I hope so. This is so bad that I'm doing this, but let me see what I can do. Okay. It's only 60 people here, so it's all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NYC Crime Spot. I'm with a special guest, a very special guest, my friend Pete the Pick LaFrosia, a man who a lot of people ask me about. Is he going to come back on YouTube? Well, here he is, and we're hoping to make this something that happens more often. And I'm going to help out Pete, and we're gonna try to bring you guys what you want. Pete, how are you today?
I'm fine. Hello, all viewers out there. Happy to talk to you again.
So, Pete, there's some big news going around in the on YouTube, on the internet. Your old best friend Jerry Capisi, he's talking about it. but this is the first time that somebody is going to be here on YouTube or anywhere really publicly speaking about their friend, somebody that they were indicted with, somebody that they knew on the street, somebody that they knew for many years. This gentleman right here, Anthony Michael Center. And Pete, I want you to look at this right here. That says Anthony Michael Center, 68 years old. You see what that release date says?
Yes.
6/22/2024.
Next year. Thank
He's
God.
been granted parole. What are your feelings on that, Pete?
My feelings on that. My heart is elated because I don't believe Anthony ever deserved what happened there. And it's good to know that he can be home to see his children again, his wife. Like how can I say it? While we were away, we lost a lot of our loved ones. You know what I mean? And here's his chance to be with the ones that are still here for him. And I believe in my heart that's all he wants is to be with his loved ones and try to live the rest of his life as happy and as peaceful as he can.
Of course, Pete, there's a lot of people that look at what Anthony got convicted for and why he got sent away. And many people openly say that they don't think he should be ever let out of prison. That he's right where he belongs and that's where he should stay. That's where he should die. To people who say that, what is your opinion on that notion?
Well, I believe the people that are saying that are saying a lot of that because of what the trial said about him, what the prosecutor and all of them presented about him. They don't really know him. They're going by what they heard and what they read. You know what I mean? They don't know the actual man. So what I'm saying is if I didn't know him and I read all the things about him and I heard that the U.S. government is saying all these things about him, I'm naturally going to side with the government and believe, wow, this guy's a bad guy. But if they actually knew the man physically, you know what I mean? They'd have they'd have a more of a different opinion of Anthony.
Okay. That's it. That's it. So that is going to piss people off, of course. Now Pete has sounded better than he's ever sounded so far. He's going to sound even better than that because once I figure out his situation over there, I got a little bit of an idea of it earlier with the laptop and all that other stuff. I know what he's working with, so I'm going to send him a mic. We're going to get things working. We're going to get things going. Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of interesting other things being spoken about in that interview. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Holy shit, we asked and you delivered. Listen, I've been trying really fucking hard for like 2 years to, Pete D. Damn it. No, I really want to see it. Great content. Well done. Yeah. Good tease. Yeah, guys, that's the only guy that you're going to see on YouTube anywhere that knew him personally, that was indicted with him, that sat in court on trial with him. I'll show you guys. Let me see. I mean, for those of you who have never seen this image before, because I had it in my StreamYard, but now it's not there. But I'll put it in. I'll put it in right now so I could just share it with you. Interestingly enough, this court sketch that I'm about to show you is part of the collection of in the Library of Congress in the Smithsonian. Because the woman, the great Marilyn Church, who sketched a lot of these court scenes, a lot of mafia trials, John Gotti, commission trials, this trial with the Roy DeMeo crew, Son of Sam, the list goes on. She's a legend, and she's still at it today. They have collected a large portion of her art, of her sketches, to enter into the Smithsonian. And this picture I'm about to show you is actually in that collection. And that's something we're going to talk about with Pete as well. So this picture here, okay, so this is a month before Paul Castellano is assassinated in Manhattan. So up there you have, so I could, you could see that Joey Testa and Henry Borelli are like, they look the same in this picture. But up here you have Henry Borelli, you have Ronald Bulldog Turecki, and you have Pete the Pick LaFrosia, the man who you just saw on the screen. You have Joey Testa, you have Paul Castellano, you have Judge Kevin Duffy, you have Walter Mack, prosecutor, and on the stand you have the great Vito Arena. Just wanted to show you guys that for anyone who's not aware. So yeah, that's about 40 minutes tomorrow, 40 to 45 minutes, that conversation. We touch on, of course, Anthony Center. We touch on Roy. We touch on some other things. And listen, I'm expecting some hate comments. I've gotten hate comments before about Pete. Do I agree with everything with Pete? You know, of course not. But you got to understand he's going to look at it a certain type of way. And it's understandable. You know, I don't know what it's like to be somebody like that. I don't know what it's like to be in prison. I don't know what it's like to run the streets with the types of people that he did. So, you know, in my efforts to stay impartial and to try to be a journalist, to try to bring you guys interesting content, to try to bring you guys, you know, the only time, you know, that somebody that was indicted with those guys has ever spoken. This is the only man who's ever spoken that sat on trial with these guys. That's in Murder Machine. You know, not Dominic Montiglio, who cooperated, you know, none of these guys. You know, so it's interesting. You know, and I know some of you will find it interesting, but back to getting hate. Yeah, listen, there's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be people that disagree with him. There's going to be people that bring up certain things that Pete was charged with in his life. There's going to be people that look at lists out there of Roy DeMeo crew murders, how many times Pete's name might have or might not appear on those lists. It is what it is, and I expect that. But at the same time, you know, it's, you know, like Will Hindebrad said, it's history. And Pete has done many years in prison, and he's living his life the best he can now. We know who can find Royce Caddy. That's a funny one. That's a funny one. He was there when you got to give it to him something for that. Yeah. Whatever happened to, I don't know, dude. If it was up to him, I would be dead right now. That's all I'll tell you. You're welcome, Jared. You're welcome. Why did Pete have a beard during the trial? Well, if you ask him, he did it on purpose. Yeah. According to him, that was done purposely. He'll talk about that. And you know, the point of having somebody like that here, it's not that it's going to be some, like, even though you know, DeMeo crew 666 guru might like it to be a lot about Roy or whatever, but clearly unbiased, besides past, he did his time in the Minnesota. I feel the same way, you know, from talking to him, from meeting him, and you know, the guy did his time, and unfortunately, after he got out of that situation, he did more time for other, you know, decisions that he decided to make. And it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I'm fully expecting people to talk smack, you know. Pete D is biased because he knows Pete longer than I know the guy. Yeah, I asked because Pete told you he grew a beard to start apart from others. Thing, yes, yes, he openly said that. Yep. Will he make it to his release date? Will he make it to his release date? Are you speaking of Pete? No, they could never talk. If you're talking about Pete talking to Anthony, no. If that's what you're implying, Jesse, they will never be able to talk. That's because of legal reasons. That's what somebody who was good friends with him would say. Yeah, that seems to be. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Have a lawyer friend like Pete. Yeah. Why do you think Anthony's getting out though? It has something to do with I believe the year he was sentenced and some of the laws. I know that there was a law change recently. There was some kind of amendment made to the compassionate release. And shame on me for not knowing exactly everything that's going on with that. But it seems that it's something to do with maybe the year he was convicted, and if you're convicted prior to a certain year, maybe they amended something. It's very fuzzy, even to the people that are the most knowledgeable with everything. They still don't quite understand it, but it seems to have something to do with new amendments, new rules in reference to compassionate release. Um, Apparently, compassionate release or early release doesn't have to do with like being on death's doorstep either. There's other things that go into it. I'll find out more. I'll find out more. Um, Pete went on trial in the late 70s for a double homicide. This is public knowledge. Pete is gonna probably talk about it. He's thinking about it. Pete went on trial in the late 70s for a double homicide in relation to the John Quinn and Sherry Golden situation, which occurred at the Gemini Lounge. Uh, it's a case that Pete beat. A lot of things go into him beating that case. Nonetheless, it's a case that he beat. Um, if you look at the NYPD, the lists, if you look at that murder list that's out there with like 79 murders, like I said, it's public knowledge. I'm not like, it's weird to talk like this because this is someone that I'm friendly with, but he knows it. It's out there. If you look at that list that's online, that's been going down for a certain amount of time, detectives had implicated him having to do with something, maybe 4 or 5 more. In fact, there's a very strange incident before Roy dies, and this is according to authorities. Listen, I don't know. Where he kills John Romano and I believe Anthony Romano, and these are things that are out there. So, like I said, I'm not like breaking fucking news here. I'm not ratting on anybody. Let me just see. And Pete D, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I mean, I'm not really saying anything that's not. I just want people to get a grasp when people are asking questions. I'm not trying to be like a rat type person or whatever. We talk about Sammy the Bull too on this thing. Let me just see something, guys. I could share something with you here. Unbiased interview. That's the only way to get this. I try to be. I try to be. Most epic boxing Anthony if it was permitted. Yeah, if it was permitted, yeah, I agree. Insane the center was getting out with Vicarine and Bondman. We were both 90 and suffer from. Yeah, that is unbelievable, Jackie. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. The only ones that I don't feel bad for Vicamuso. Like, he could fucking die in prison. I have no problem saying that. I never thought he would get out. It just goes to show you. And that might be cruel to say, but when you really look at it, it's like, I never realized this from the Joey has a lazy eye. I guess so. Pete is a great guy to get knowledge from. I can't wait to see it. I've been waiting to hear more on Pete. The internet says he was involved with quite a few. Yeah, so I'll bring that up for you guys to see, just so you can get an idea. Now, these lists are lists that were compiled by FBI, NYPD, detectives, because if you guys don't know, that was a joint task force trying to take down this crew. I'm going to share the screen, and I'm only sharing it because people asked. Some of the details of this is in the book Murder Machine, where Pete is a character in that book. Yeah, I saw that. His son, yeah, I did see that. Vic Jr., right? Is it his son or his grandson? I don't know. Hey, you know what's crazy, Joey Frakes? You know what's fucking crazy? Scott Storch's mom is a viewer of my channel, and she has left comments since 2 years that I've been here, and I've conversed with her. And then one day she leaves a comment talking about, oh yeah, my son, this and that. And I'm like, your son? And then I look at her and I look it up and I see an article about her. I'm like, what the fuck? It blew my mind. Blew my mind. But I haven't seen her in a while. Just thought I wanted to share that with you. So fucking strange. I think her name is fuck, what is her name? Look it up. I think it's like, was it Yolanda? I hope she's not watching or sees this now, because then she'll be like, you bitch. But yeah, it was the weirdest thing. So weird. Dunstan Munson, thank you so much for the $2. Much appreciated, bro. Thank you so much, buddy. You are the man. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So let me share my screen and we'll just look at this list. All right. For everybody here wondering. All right. This list appears everywhere. A couple of places. We'll use LCM bios. We're going to scroll down a little bit. You guys can see this, right? All right. So we first have John Quinn. Motive: testified before grand jury. Method: shot once in the back of head with a caliber. Participants: Roy DeMeo, Henry Borelli, Pete LaFrosia, Chris Rosenberg, Joey Testa, Anthony Center. Body dumped in Dongan Hills, Staten Island. On that same night, at the same time, Cherry Golden, 19 years old. Motive: have knowledge of Quinn operation. Participants: Anthony Center, Joey Testa, Roy DeMeo, Peter LaFrosia, Henry Borelli, Chris Rosenberg. Daniel Conti, for those that don't know, Daniel Conti was a brother-in-law of Pete LaFrosia. Participants: Roy DeMeo, Pete LaFrosia, others. John Costello, November 14th, 1977. Participants: Roy DeMeo, Peter LaFrosia, others. Michael Mandolino, motive: suspected of setting up Peter LaFrosia for a robbery. Method: shot multiple times in the head. Okay. Nino Martino, motive: present with Mandolino. I guess you could say collateral damage. Patrick Presenzano stole jewelry from a DeMeo acquaintance. We don't know who that acquaintance is. Joseph Scorney, Edward Danny Grillo, Gary Gardine, Peter Waring, Scott Crafaro, Fred Tadaro, Charles Padnick, William Serrano, unidentified, Jamie Padnick, Dominic Ragucci, Harvey Chris Rosenberg, Eppolito, Khalid Dowd, Falcaro, Joseph Coppolino, Patrick Penny, Charles Mongator, Daniel Scudero, Frank Amato. There's just another one that they claim, and I just want to show you that one because it's pretty interesting. So let's look at this one. This is very odd. So I don't know the story about this. I've never asked Pete. I don't know the fucking story. Okay. So these are suspected to be Roy's final murders. Anthony Romano and John Romano. According to authorities, now, once again, no one's been ever arrested, indicted, convicted. This is out there on the internet. According to authorities, motive: suspected involvement in a 1978 robbery of Peter LaFrosia. So, according to authorities, this is a double homicide that Roy does, where he kills both of these guys. And authorities said it's because he did it for Pete. That's what authorities say. I'm not saying that. I've never asked about it. I know nothing about it. Okay? So you guys asked for it, so there you go. I gave it to you. L Prophet. What? And you guys can find that on your own. Of the usual suspects, Sammy, Francis Malaysia, what would be the most epic podcast for Anthony to do? Which would be the most volatile? Well, Sammy would be the most volatile by far. Merlino would be the most interesting because he never cooperated. And of course, Anthony never cooperated. Francis, I don't think he would even sit in the same room with somebody like Anthony. Corruption Connection. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Thank you, buddy. Roro, if you want to drop Corruption's channel, I know he is making some sort of content over there. So we can do that. The Romano brothers were thieves. Oh, maybe they were. Maybe they were. There's a photo in the newspapers of article of their bodies wrapped up in a bag somewhere. Yeah. Follow Corruption Connection here. Yeah. So you guys get an idea of what all that is about. Joey Freaks. What did he say? Oh, okay, yeah. Son or grandson, yeah, one of those. So who's going to be watching tomorrow? I'm going to be releasing it. What time tomorrow with Pete? Hey, good question. I'm actually off tomorrow, thankfully. I have a day off. So I'm thinking about releasing it. Loomis just texted me, said, great show. Driving. Thank you, my bro. Thank you for listening. What time? I don't know. I'm debating on what time to put it out tomorrow. Early afternoon. I might put it out at like 12 noon, something like that. Something like that. My hope is that, like, you know, for whatever reason, like some of my uploads are really hit and miss. I don't know what to explain it. I guess I only have myself to blame because I really try my best to put out decent content, but due to certain circumstances, the past like 2 or 3 months have been a little rough for me, and I haven't been able to be as active as I wanted to. But my hope is that people realize that the gentleman that is going to be on my show tomorrow is the only person that knew Anthony out of anybody that can talk whatever the hell they want to talk on YouTube, content creators, commenters, myself. So my hope is that people are incredibly interested in what he has to say, as they should be. And that's my hope, We'll see. We'll see if that's the case. It's going to be good. It's about 40-something minutes. We talk a little bit about Roy. We talk about Harvey Chris Rosenberg. We touch on that. This conversation is a little loose. We go to different places. We just flow with it. It's more of a conversation, which I like. I like to have a nice conversation where it's just like talking, shooting the shit, see where it's going to go. But my point of having Pete on is to make it a little more rigid. And what I was going to say before, it's like, this doesn't have to be like a, oh yeah, Gunsmoke, were you listening? Did you like step away for a second? I'm not being a wise ass and saying that. I'm just asking you if you stepped away for a second, if you missed everything that I was just saying. 100% Gunsmoke. he got indicted with the Roy DeMeo crew. He is a so I'll explain it to you, Gunsmoke. Pete LaFrosia got indicted with the Roy DeMeo crew. He was a integral part of the Empire Boulevard operation, the stolen car operation. He beat a double homicide in relation to the crew. He did 5 years for stuff in relation to the crew. The picture I showed before, Gunsmoke, or maybe you stepped away, was this picture here. This is court. You see Joey Testa, Henry Borelli. You see Paul Castellano, that guy right in the middle with the beard. That's Pete LaFrosia. That's Vito Arena on the stand there. This is a month before Paul Castellano gets killed. If you saw what I was just showing you, I'll do it one more time. Just to give you guys some context. Again, I'll do it one more time. If you see this list, Gunsmoke. So, and this is all out there. Once again, I'm not trying to come off a certain way. I just really want you guys to have context for everything. John Quinn, Sherry Golden, July 20th, 77. This is a double homicide that Pete beat. He's openly talked about it. Participants: Anthony Center, Joey Testa, Roy DeMeo, Peter LaFrosia, Henry Borelli, Chris Rosenberg. Daniel Conti. Participants: Roy DeMeo, Peter LaFrosia. Others: John Costello. Participants: Roy DeMeo, Peter LaFrosia. Michael Mandolino, suspected of setting up Peter LaFrosia for a robbery, shot multiple times in the head. Nino Martini, Mandolino. That's another murder there. And then there's a couple of more things down at the bottom. Of course, he's never been convicted, charged with those, like many of the dozens of murders that they accuse these guys of doing. But just to add context, what detectives believe, that's all I'll say. Pete's uncle, I believe, knew Roy before Pete did also, so there's history there. That's very interesting. Did they really call Roy Papa Roy? I've never heard that before. According to Murder Machine, Pete was part of the 20-man Jamaica and knew Roy on a very personal level and stolen cars record. Yes. Most can appreciate how quickly such a detailed illustration is done. She fully colored everything in mind, every detail. Yes, Vinny. And I know you could appreciate that, Vinny Boombots, as an artist yourself. The great Marilyn Church, who I sent an email to recently. Maybe she'll get back to me. She's still alive. Was Pete ever asked to participate in the book Murder Machine? No, he was not. He was not asked to participate in Murder Machine. Not at all. Listen, the reason why I have this book, sometimes I show you guys this book for reference, is not because I like to have the book next to me. My microphone sits really low. I don't have a stand for it. So there's like 3 hardcover books that I have. This is about Crazy Eddie, Retail Gangster book. I have like 3 really, like, not really thick, but thick enough books, hardcover books, that I put my mic on. So that's the only reason why I have like these books sometimes. But yeah, Gunsmoke, to answer your question, this is Murder Machine, and that's Pete right there. So yeah, this is Murder Machine. There you go. Okay. So tomorrow, part 1 of what I'm calling so far the pick comes out tomorrow, and we'll be doing those episodes, who knows, maybe 3-4 times a month if all works out. And I hope people can appreciate it. And I'm hoping it can make some noise. I have nothing against informants, rats. I really don't care. But everybody that's on YouTube that was an associate or involved in that life is an informant, is a rat, with the exception of Joey Merlino. And Pete. So I hope people can appreciate that. Yes, Crazy Eddie Antar. That is 100% correct. That's what that book is about. Sorry, B, couldn't resist. Couldn't resist. Oh, about Marilyn Church? No, I was talking about her before, dude. She's a legend. I love her. Crazy Eddie was a genius. You got an older man that does blue collar work. They will be talking about this case 1,000 years from now, assuming the human race does not blow itself up. Yeah. 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 It's an incredibly interesting case. And it is the longest organized crime case, as far as I know, in American history. It's a case that starts in 1984, doesn't wrap up till 1989. So what does that tell you? It involves over 20 individuals. And during the case, people are dying left and right. Paul Castellano is dying. Richie Denomi never gets to see trial because he gets murdered, seemingly by Anthony Center and Joey Testa. And Broadway Freddie hangs himself. It's just a fucking nightmare, dude. It's a nightmare. It's an incredible nightmare. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm not one of those people, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be talking more about Dominic. I touched on him a little bit. I asked him, and it's somewhere on my channel, Gunsmoke. I asked Pete, I said, because there's a chapter in Murder Machine where it's talking about Dominic Montiglio, and it says that Dominic Montiglio still kept coming around, even though he didn't like I forgot what it says exactly. Even though he didn't appreciate the company of Anthony Center, Joey Testa, Peter LaFrosia, and whoever else, he still came around because he wanted to make money, whatever else. And I asked Pete, I said, Dominic Montiglio didn't appreciate being around you and these guys. What's that about? And he said, jealousy. Just like that. He was jealous. He said he was jealous because he wasn't making any money. And Nino had him on a leash. And the other guys were making a lot of money, fancy cars, lots of this, lots of women, good looking. Not that Dominic wasn't like a young, good looking guy or whatever, but Pete just thought he was like jealous and bitter. I don't know. That's his opinion. Yeah. 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 He would do that, Dominic. No, Gunsmoke. It was unfortunately what Carmine said. Yeah, I was talking about that before. Yeah. Roy's last victim. That's how you have to look at it. Roy's final victim. I think Dominic said before he was jealous on some level. Yeah, I mean, I would be. I would be. If I was like being stalled or stopped from maybe exceeding on a level that he could have. But better for him in the end. Better for him. Yes. Prayers, prayers, prayers. Yeah, so tomorrow, like I said, that's going to come out tomorrow. I'll probably put it out like 12 o'clock. I'll put it out like noon, something like that. Like I said, it's about 40-something minutes. I'll tell you guys right now how long it is. It is 43 minutes. Well, that's not bad, guys. 43 minutes. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we talk about Harvey. What else do we talk about? We talk about Sammy. We talk about Sammy the bullshitter. And how he says that Roy told him that, late at night, there was some poor guy in the neighborhood just drinking, and Roy would call Cousin Joe. Hey, Cousin Joe, we got one over here. We got one. We got a straggler over here. I think we need to chop him up for practice. I think my guys need some practice. We need to chop them up for fun. A story which I don't believe at all. So we talked about that, so you guys can get Pete's opinion on that. We talked about Sammy the Bull.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
Let me do that again. Hold on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
I've been collecting every "oh my God" that Sammy the Bull says, and I'm making an incredible compilation of them. So far, I got like 5 or 6 of them. I'm trying to get like 20 of them, and then I'm gonna put that out. I'm gonna drop that heat, and then I'll give it to you, Gunsmoke, so you can use it for your channel.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
The last one is the best one. The last one. He sounds like a woman in a fucking hair salon. Oh my God.
Hey, oh my God.
Let me know if you want that heat, Gunsmoke. I'll send that over to you. LOL, LOL. Oh my God. Yeah, once I get like 10 or 15 of them, it's gonna be on.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
All right, that's it. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, it would have more so to do with collateral damage. I would believe the word would be to use for that. The idea that, and listen, I wasn't there. What the fuck do I know? But I'm asking somebody who was indicted with them his opinion on it, and you guys will get to hear that tomorrow. The idea that Roy's in a bar and there's some guy that's one of the last couple of guys there at night, and he picks up the phone and says, "Hey, cousin Joe, we got one over here. Get ready. Call the guys over. We need some practice tonight. We're gonna fucking kill someone and chop them up for fun." I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. You'll have 100 by the end of the week. Yeah. Do you think Roy showed young Albert? No. Excellent. Well, that's generally what Pete would say. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think so. Did he show his son how to dismember bodies? And no, come on. That's crazy. Come on. No. Wow. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm gonna probably head out in a couple minutes. I didn't realize how long I've been on here, but that's gonna come out tomorrow. I might go out and do some filming tomorrow, some location shit. We'll see how I feel. Being that I got a day off, see if I have time to go out and film something. There's a couple of spots I have in mind that I want to go to. As kids, me and my friends found 2 male bloodied bodies in a dump and only found out recently they were victims of Legrand. Is that right, Michael Gerard? Now let me ask you something. Those 2 bodies, were those bodies of 2 drug dealers that his children ended up killing, and then they ended up serving time for those murders? Are those the ones that you're referring to, Michael Gerard? I would love to know if that's what you're referring to, because his sons went to jail in relation to a double homicide of 2 guys that they killed. I have a feeling that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Sherry Golden, who was with John Quinn when they killed John Quinn. But as I said, innocent. Yes, I agree with you. 100% innocent. Absolutely disgusting. But I suppose that would be called, in their minds, collateral damage, because of the connection to someone that they murdered that she arrived to the Gemini Lounge with. Now, listen, I'm not taking anything away from that. It's a horrible thing to do. But random somebody that's drinking in a bar just for fun, for practice. I'm not buying that. I heard Roy was actually a really nice person. I'm sure if you knew him well and you were cool with him, yeah. Whoa. I have never once heard word about Roy DeMeo's wife. Yeah. You don't hear too much. In Albert's book, you do, though. If you read Albert's book. Thank you, Roro. Sammy the Bull said that Roy told them they would take off their shirts and lift weights in front of Castellano. Yeah, that's another thing said. What did Sammy? I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know. That Roy was acting really weird, asking him to like work out with him. And Sammy thought that was weird. Like, bro, we're gonna work out. I mean, what are you talking about? We got serious guys over here. What are you doing? We can't work out over here. We got some serious fucking guys over here. Fucking weird. Oh my god. All right, I'll stop. Sammy's all over the place with his stories. Sammy has dementia. Dominic has home videos of reporter Roy's place. His wife may have appeared in it. Sure. Well, if you go to Ross Brodar, my friend Ross Brodar's YouTube channel, Dominic Montiglio, The Life, you'll see a bunch of those videos. Oh my god. Never be that. Well, there you, yeah, there you go. So, LOL. Oh my god. I like when Sammy says, "Bro." Get a compilation of bros going, dude. That'll be like. That would be like, too easy. I might just get everything from one episode.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey, oh my god.
Who do you think the scariest one that killed Solo without a crew? Solo without a crew? Does it have to be in relation to the mafia, or could it just be like a mobster in general terms, like the way they operated their life was like a mob? Was like organized crime, I should say. Michael Gerard, can you answer what I said before? I don't know if you just went in and out and you just bounced on me. Mafia. I don't know. Mad Dog Sullivan? I don't know. I'd really have to think about it. I mean, if Mad Dog Sullivan wanted you dead, you were seemingly dead, right? Or if he was being, I mean, he's the epitome of contract killer, right? I mean, we hear like Roy's crew, you know, they did some contracts from what we know, but essentially they were doing it to advance their businesses. I mean, I'm pretty, for everything I know, Mad Dog epitomized contract killer in the truest sense of the word. So I wouldn't want to be in the 70s and have him coming after me. So I suppose he would be a scary guy, intelligent guy, smart guy. Doesn't look like he does what he does. It would be something to think about, Carmine. I don't know. Oh, does he not have a crew though? Doesn't he have a crew, like, to an extent? I mean, is it fair to say he has no crew? I don't know. Or is he just like one of, I mean, he has obviously a crew of guys around him, but do you think like he operated kind of outside the boundaries of that life to a certain extent? Like he was just like a weird dude. Like Roy was just kind of like a weird dude that a lot of serious guys kind of didn't want to be around. Is that what you mean in that sense? Yeah. I could see Scarpa being that type of character where probably a lot of guys that were serious guys that were made guys that were other capos probably didn't want much to do with him. I could see that being true. Him being kind of a man on his own island over there with those few of his guys around him. But he did have a crew though, right? I mean, King Mazza. Kill the last customer at the bar. Spanish guys just to get practice. Roy said his coffee boy is on his fifth. Yeah, that's another thing I spoke to Pete about. Who the fuck is Roy's coffee boy? First of all, who is his coffee boy? I'd like to know who that is. Okay, well that makes sense then. I thought you meant like solo in its truest sense, just like a loner. That's what I thought about Mad Dog, just like a guy who was like on his own. We didn't kill him for nothing. Do you think Roy might be homosexual? Because all his guys were young and good looking. I don't fucking know what to say to that. He's like a Fagin, Oliver Twist, Fagin, Center is being released due to something with the sentencing law at that time. Something I read. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at before. I don't believe any of that shit Sammy says about Roy. I tend not to believe it either. Well, he wasn't that fat, but yeah, he was fat. Vito was fat, like fat. Like huge fat. As a matter of fact, when Vito was arrested in Port Jefferson Station at the Good Earth Chinese restaurant, if you guys want to know where that happened, you can check NYC Crime Spot to see where I go to Long Island and go to these locations. The cop that saw him there recognized him and Joey Lee from some sketches that they were wanted for robberies in Brooklyn. And what do you know? Like fucking an hour to hour and a half outside of in traffic. If you're in Brooklyn and you want to drive to Port Jefferson Station, whatever, it's going to take you a hell of a long time to get there, especially nowadays. What do you know? They're eating at some fucking random Chinese restaurant in Port Jefferson, and there's a cop there that recognizes Vito, and the cop says that his little son that he was with, Vito was like so fat that even the kid's son asked his dad, like, "Dad, look at that fat guy over there. Like, what the hell is that?" Like, so he was a fat dude, Vito. He was like fucking 450 pounds. He was probably like a Pete Kyoto kind of fat, like a fucking fat slob. I don't think he was as tall as Pete Kyoto, but he was a fat mess. In the FBI files, there's a photo of Vito standing up for a mugshot, but they block out his face. It's just like a blank square across his face. And he is fat, dude. He is really fat. I think Sammy got good stories, but he stretches the truth way too much for better content. I think a lot of his shit was written by someone else. Those two were like Laurel and Hardy, yeah. Well, he was working with that guy. What's that guy's name? Maybe somebody knows his name. He's like a documentary filmmaker. So maybe like I could see them writing like an outline for Sammy. And I like Sammy's channel a lot in the beginning and stuff. Now I think it's a little strange. I think things are a little strange. What happened with Joey Lee? So apparently Joey Lee went to prison for a manslaughter charge. He shot somebody in Texas. That's what I heard. He might be alive today. I would love to contact him. That would be amazing to have Joey Lee interview. That would be wild. But yeah, once again, we talk about Sammy tomorrow, and Pete talks about Sammy. I think Pete refers to Sammy as a steroid head, as a roid head. He said he was a steroid head.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
You know, I've thought about that myself. I don't know how true that is. Wasn't there like a prank call to? I don't know if it's a prank. Wasn't there a call to like Howard Stern back in the day? Somebody claiming to be Spider Gianca's Spider Gianca's sister or brother or something. Oh shit! I gotta plug my fucking laptop in. Jesus. Whoops. All right. Wasn't there like a call to Howard Stern, somebody claiming to be Spider Gianca's sister or brother or something? If anybody could confirm that. Exactly. Yeah, we spoke about that too. Pull up Zisa? Jaja? Marky Mark remembers. There you go. Yeah, his sister. I just listened to the Howard Stern episode and the other. Okay. But you think that was a real call? Yeah, she big. They didn't find any bodies at the Roberts Lounge. They found no bodies there at all. None in the backyard either. I saw a comment on time that said you could smell Eli's you could smell his cologne through the screen. That's funny. Who got clipped? I don't know. Depends on what part of this live stream you're talking about. But they didn't find any bodies either in the basement of Roberts Lounge or in the backyard of Roberts Lounge. So, where they moved, is that all Henry Hill's fairy tales? I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about that? You think that there were bodies in the Roberts Lounge basement? Or in the backyard at one point? You think those Henry Hill stories are true, or are they all fugazi? Are they all a bunch of nonsense? Hey, Francesco Fiorellino. What's going on, man? How are you? What do you think, Frank? Was there bodies in the backyard? This is Francesco Fiorellino, Frank Fiorellino. We did an interview recently on my channel. Frank is a cool dude. Former Bonanno crime family associate. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I was going to ask you if you wanted to. I don't want to be that type of person that like hits people up and it's like, hey, you want to come on my show? I'm not really on people, but I wanted to kind of ask you because of what I was talking about earlier in this stream. I was talking about Eric Ulrich and I was talking about places like this, Frank. And I was talking about places like this, the former social club of Sierra Perone. And the idea that Eric Ulrich was gambling at this location. And the idea that he was taking kickbacks from the current owners of Aldo's. Maybe you could say your opinion on that. I don't know. But you guys think there was what was I saying? You guys think there was bodies at the Roberts Lounge? Frank, what do you think about this? What do you think about this?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
What do you think about that? Oh my God. Oh my God. You guys are fucking nuts with that shit, man. Oh, that was a legendary clip. Does anybody have that clip? I noticed you guys talk about it, but you don't play the clip. What's that all about? The Free John Gotti song I told you to listen to was done by Sal from the Howard Stern Show. It's fucking funny. You guys want to hear a funny story? Actually, I'm not going to say it. Sorry. What was that, Frank? What was that? You know what that is. Come on. You don't know what that is? I want to see. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I have an idea, guys. I have an idea. I have a great idea. Is the Gemini Lounge still a church? Yes, it is. It is a church. You know what? That guy is a garbage can. So you know what? Oh my God. Fuck. Garbage can. All right, let's see. Frank's at the bar. What are you sitting at the bar listening to this? That's funny, dude. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Garbage can. I'm trying to put up what that guy is, what that clip is, guys, so you can see it. But no, that's not. No, that's not what it was, Frank. I'll show you what it was, though. I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna put it on. Okay, 1730. All right, here we go.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God. 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 Hey, oh my God.
One more time.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
All right. BK Sal, what's going on, man? BK Sal Crook. How you doing, man? Street legend. My baby. That's my new shit, guys. Listen, I told you. I want to be collecting about 15 or 20 of those. All right. Let me see some of these comments. Let me go back. My Paisan. Good evening. I've been there before. Not after tonight's stream. I won't be going there again. Frank's funny. Frank's at the bar. There's probably music playing. He's having drinks, but he's still like, "Oh, great show tonight, man."
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
Put that as your notification when you get a text message. Yeah, I think so. Sometimes that's how I feel when certain people call me. I'm like, "Oh my God." I just don't want to pick it up. Roro, good. Bro, this is the total two jerkers. They know who they are. You seen them last night in the chat. I don't even acknowledge guys like that. Goomba, yeah. Watching the Sunday game. Oh, that makes sense. Football. That's right. All right, guys. I'm gonna get out in a few minutes, but listen, like I said before, tomorrow, probably around noon, episode 1, the pick. Me and Pete the Pick LaFrosia. We're gonna be putting out. It's about 43 minutes. Episode 1. I showed you guys a little bit of a teaser earlier. That's going to come out. I hope Crime Spot, you do the best, Sam. I got to come on your show. I do a lot of pretty good impressions, Gunsmoke. And I debated coming in on your live streams as an array of different people, but I have not done it. One of them was really good, but a certain drama ended recently between you guys and that person, so I didn't do it. Gunsmoke blows. I heard that too, Frank. I heard that too. I may or may not have seen Gunsmoke behind a Korean barbecue one night doing something a little strange. That's all I got to say. I never listened to Samuel Martello, only to do concept Mooney, Brazen Breeze. Oh, see. Hey, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Thank you so much. Well, Montiglio's dead, Jared. He's no longer with us. So all that video that you're seeing is Ross Brodar's footage that he's putting up. In case you didn't know that, I don't know. Thank you, Tiger King Poppy. Thank you so much. I love that name, by the way. Tiger King Poppy. Love it. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. I caught you. I'm sorry. Sorry. Do you have a wine merchant impression? I don't know. I was making fun of him the other day, the wine merchant, because he says a lot of stupid things that piss me off. We never extorted innocent people. It just never happened. It never happened, Sammy. We never stopped the baloney. You know, that's the type of shit that comes out of the wine merchant's mouth. Hey, Mob Entertainment Group, JC. I like the hat. Back in college, I had a friend who had a hat looked like that, except it said Bass Pro and had a pic of a chick. You know, it's funny. There's no Bass Pro shops in New York City. There's not even any in Long Island. So whenever I'm like out of state, Florida, I think upstate, maybe, I don't know, Connecticut, I always go to them because I really love those fucking stores. New Jersey, I'm a big Bass Pro Shop kind of guy. That's not to say that I fish or hunt, because I don't. I just love the aesthetic. It never happened. Howard Stern moment was when Henry Hill was in studio with him one time, and a woman called into the show and ripped Henry for her brother. Yeah, that's what we were talking about before. We were debating on whether Spider Gianca was actually a real person or not. Oh, JC, good stuff with those Gene Borello things recently. I never catch them live, but I always watch them after. I'm sorry I don't comment. I should start leaving comments on them. But they are entertaining. He is an entertaining guy. And you guys got where's the nearest Bass Pro? You know, I think the nearest one is like an hour away, like maybe Connecticut. There's like a big one. I know there's some in Jersey also. But they're such cool stores. I love them. What was I gonna play, you guys? I was just gonna do so. So you guys asked me about Francis. I'm gonna go in a couple minutes, but I found something the other day that you guys might like. All right, guys. When I get on the street, keep using that BS.
What did you do? Say it. Say what the fuck you did. What did you do?
What did you do?
You're involved in 1920.
What did you do?
Three fucking Mafia wars.
Your badge of honor. Your badge of honor. You killed 19. You put a gun in the fucking back of 19 guys. That's your badge.
No, I didn't shoot 19 guys. I'm involved in 19 murders.
Good for you, Sammy.
Yeah. I'm involved in 3 Mafia wars. What did I do?
Oh, Sammy, you know what? You're talking like a clown right now. Nobody ever went to jail because of anything I ever told the government. Can you say the same, Sammy? No. So don't give me your BS.
I was on the fucking street. Who the fuck knew who you are? Myself.
Stop the baloney, huh? Who the hell knew you either?
Again, stop the baloney. Who the fuck in the mob says stop the baloney? What kind of statement is that?
You know what I like about that clip? I like that in the beginning of that clip, Michael Francis goes, you put a gun on 3 fucking guys' backs. He says, fuck. But then he goes, stop the baloney. Instead of like, stop the bullshit, stop the baloney. 1 minute he's dropping F-bombs. The next minute he's dropping baloney bombs. That doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. What kind of wise?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know, Gunsmoke, I think you got the right idea with your show, to be honest with you, because this is a lot funner than fucking coming on here, looking through indictments and talking about fucking Eric Ulrich and getting nerdy with the court files. You know what I'm doing right now, this is actually fun. So I think I gotta Joey Dubs loves Francis. Mikey Francis, man. I love Mikey. Really chick, I didn't start over them. I was around other people. I did a favor for him and he kept asking for me. Oh, I'm lost on this combo. PBD make bank off both of them. Yeah, I'm sure he gave them a nice little check. Crime Spot, Florida. What's that? Is that where you got the Bass Pros? I was in Florida recently. I went to the Everglades and I did one of them airboat tours, you know, on the to see all the alligators and shit. That was fun. That was fun. You're welcome, man. I could see how this is fun doing this every day. Just talking shit, going, oh my God, and just making fun of people. But yeah, I'm going to pop in your show next time. Maybe tomorrow. I'm going to pop in. And I might have to come up with a couple of different characters over there. Start having some real fun on YouTube. I'm going to use your show as my springboard. How do you like that, Gunsmoke? Make it as much sense as church affiliation. Makes about as much sense as his church affiliations, he mentions. Yeah, I just don't like that. Like, okay. Row, please hit the subscribe notifications. Yeah, Row, you should go to Gunsmoke's show too. It's funny. I think you would like it. Some of it might not make sense to you at first, but you'll catch on. Bonnie and Clyde. Vinny and him are talking about something. Oh, I asked you guys a question before I go. Do you guys think that there was bodies at Robert's Lounge in the basement or in the backyard? What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's true? Or you think Henry Hill is telling stories over here? What do you think about that? I'm just looking at something real quick. I don't know. Michael is a Jesus freak. Yeah. Thank you, Joey. Allegedly, right for Anthony Blair got clipped. Joe Sosa, he said, oh my, is that right? They went over to Los Angeles, right, to kill Anthony DeLappy, right? What's his name involved in that? What's that guy's name? Grado? Anthony Grado? Is that the guy's name? Grado? Did he say, oh my God, before he got hit? Wow. Los Angeles. Man, Gaspipe went all out for that one. Go to LA and find that. And Vicamuso, I should say. I don't want to not give Vicamuso credit. Well, Jimmy Burke had body back his house, found decades. That is correct. They found something at his house. Oh my God. Henry Hill was always reliable, especially if they're drinking a couple of some cheap vodka. Yeah. No bodies at Robert's Lounge. He's full of baloney. Yeah, full of baloney. Yeah. Or I know his poor Belle never got the Danish that Moore was bringing home to her. You guys ever watch my Robert's Lounge video when I went inside? And they went in the backyard. Here, I'll show you the backyard right now. I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Let's see. Let's see the backyard of Robert's Lounge. Let's check it out. All right, so let's go. Here we are. There it is.
All right.
So here's the alleyway, which the authorities entered into when they were doing the digs in 1982 or 81. And they would go into this backyard and dig up the whole fucking thing. And you can see it looks like garbage right now. That is the backyard of Jimmy Burke's Robert's Lounge. So as I mentioned, in early June, police would come back here and dig up this property looking for bodies. There used to be a bocce ball court back here. You see what I do for you guys? I could have got arrested doing that. I could have went to prison for life for that. I could have got whacked for that. I could have got whacked by Tommy DeSimone for doing that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
I could have got whacked for that. And that's what I get? All right. Frank, what's Frank saying? Honolulu.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Frank. If you're going to keep talking about me, you're going to be in big trouble. And I'm only going to say it once. I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm not going to fucking tell you again. You're playing with fire. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say.
Some people will get that. Some people won't. There you go, Roro.
Yeah, well, listen. Like I said, I'm not here to fuck around. And, if it's going to come down to that, then, you're going to be in a world of hurt. And, I don't have to talk anymore. But you'll get what's coming to you. Believe me.
That's for Frank. Frank's getting whacked. I was gonna do that on your show, Gunspoke, but you guys are all like done, You guys were done with that. So I was like, you know what? Let me not. Was a body found in Burke's backyard? There was no body found back there, Margaret. There was no body found in the backyard. There was no body found in the basement. What they found was horse bones and what appeared to be a bone of a small animal, maybe a dog or a goat or something of the sort. No bodies whatsoever.
Well, let me tell you something, Joey.
And I have nothing against that guy, by the way. I'm just having fun. I have nothing against anybody. I'm just having fun. That's a nice area, Paisan. Oh, you guys are still talking. Yeah, Margaret, I did a video on that too, discussing the entire history of the dig at Robert's Lounge, what sparked it, what they were doing there, all of the things that Jimmy Burke was doing. Jimmy Burke actually brought his own fucking tractor to the dig and said, I'll dig myself. Here's my tractor. He had his own fucking backhoe there. True story. He said, here, you get a cease and desist Monday. Jesus Christ. Hey, I'm just having fun. I'm not making fun. Whatever, dude. That guy doesn't watch my show. What the fuck would he watch my show for? He probably thinks I'm a loser. Probably thinks I have no business doing any of this. And I don't know. Maybe I don't. Who the fuck knows? The sit downs you have to do posted a great pic of young Frank today. Is that right? Oh, yeah, I did see that. I did say that. And once again, Frank, I don't know if you look Italian in that photo. I don't know. You look like you look like a you look like a you look like a fucking a refugee from Sarajevo or Bosnia or something. You look like one of them Caucasus Mountains, one of them Dagestani guys. You might like kill somebody with your bare hands or something. But I know you've heard that before. I know that was unpacked before. Somebody unpacked that for you before.
But you better watch out because I'm not fucking around. That's all I'm going to tell you. Better watch out.
He can seize these nuts. I'm broke. Fuck him. Bosnian. Yeah. You look like a Bosnian refugee. Like you just came here. You might be one of them. I went to school in elementary school. There was this kid. And he was like a refugee from like fucking one of those countries. One of those Muslim countries where everybody looks white. And yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, he was on some shit like that. I have to admit, I would have been too chicken to knock on Roy DeMeo's front door. Yeah, we went over there. We knocked on the door. We rang the bell. We wanted to see what was going on. I rang the bell. And there was somebody in the house and they didn't want to answer the door. And then I ran into, not on film, I ran into the lady who lives there now, and she was not fucking happy with me. What can I say? Unpack these nuts. 2024. So when I went there, I rang the bell because the house is in disarray and all the granite and the marble is falling apart. So I went with my friend Manny and we have it all on film. It's on my channel. I rang the bell because I wanted to read the permit, the work permit, as far as what was going on with the house. And they didn't answer the door. So I went to the side. I was looking in and I saw a guy in the window. And then when we saw him, he fucking closed the thing really quick. And we left, and I was like, let's just go back around. And when I went back around, the lady who lives there was pulling in. And I said, hey, ma'am, how are you? Can I ask you a question? I was talking to her, this and that. And I was going to ask her generally what's going on with the house. Is it for sale? Are you doing construction? Like, because it's been under construction for like 2 years. But I quickly realized what was going on there. There's individuals living there that there's something not right is going on there. If you go to Google Images, you'll notice that the pool in the backyard is overgrown. There's a fucking jungle growing in the pool. The whole property is a fucking in disarray. Then my friend Manny that was with me mentions Roy's name. And as soon as he mentioned Roy's name, the lady fucking flipped out. She's like, I've been hearing that name for 30 years. I had enough. And I'm like, all right, I'm not trying to, whatever. I just wanted to ask you, what's going on with the property, this and that. And I asked her because a lot of the original stuff from the house is still there, like the fence, the light fixtures, everything that you see in those barbecue videos. They're still there. Actually, one of the fences was sitting under a pile of leaves. And I'm like, this fucking lady's out of her mind. She could probably sell this stuff and make a lot of money. So I asked her, I said, hey, I don't know what's going on with your construction. Would you ever consider selling any of this stuff? I know this and that. And she started screaming at me. She's like, talk to my contractor. She started screaming at me. Just started going nuts. So I was like, all right, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, I don't know. I mean, he had his first house in Massapequa, and then he had another house in Massapequa, and outside of that, I can't say if he owned another one. I don't know. Yeah, she's rude. She's been hearing Roy's name for 30 years. How dare she fucking scream at me? Who the hell told you to buy the house? She should have told her that she was going to be nice, drop the attitude, and be great. Fool that you care about her house. Yeah. The bricks in the driveway, for those who know the story, Roy got, yeah, that's an interesting story. Yeah. According to Albert, they ripped up those bricks from an old cobblestone street in Manhattan. And that's why the driveway of the house is cobblestone. I believe it. Massapequa, or as some like to call it, matzo pizza. That video. That's the video I'd like to see. Oh, of her screaming? Yeah, yeah. Imagine I had a camera in her face. Massapequa. Hit the like button.
You guys better hit the like button. Do it quick.
What else is going on here? I'm gonna get going soon. I said that 2 hours ago. That house looks like shit. Yes, you do pay attention, Roro. Of course. You're the best. Yeah, it looks like shit, and it's looked like shit for 2 years. So I was genuinely like wondering, like, what's going on? Like, are you guys selling the house? Do you want to sell me some of this fucking disaster that's laying around? And she started freaking out. You have every right to stand on the sidewalk. Yeah, they are cool. They actually are pretty cool. What did she say to y'all? Oh, she just said, talk to my contractor. And she was about what was going on with the house. And I feel like you're the one paying a contractor. Like, you couldn't answer the question. Like, and then I said, do you want to sell some of this crap that you're destroying? I'll buy if you're getting rid of it. Like, because it looked like they're demolishing it. So like, if you're getting rid of some of the stuff, would you be interested in like selling some of it? And she didn't want to hear it. So I was like, whatever. You don't fucking hear it, then don't hear it. Which family is more powerful, the Cavalcanti, Jersey? Historically, I mean, it's a good question. I will say I don't know. Isn't the Cavalcanti a lot bigger historically? Weren't they a lot bigger than Philly? Philly is more centrally located to like a certain area, even though they were some people consider them. I don't know. Somebody could probably answer that better than I could, to be honest with you. Let me see. How much you would pay from a brick? I wouldn't pay anything. I would just take it. You guys want to see a hot ass? You guys want to see a hot fire ass chick? Kind of Janet Jackson-ish. You're gonna show us that, Frank? Oh, we think that the people that live there are probably hoarders. And there's if we were to see inside that house, I'm sure you would see it would be it would be an episode of A&E's Hoarders. That's what we think is going on there. Yeah. You're gonna show us this? What's going on, Frank? Is this you at the bar? Hanging out with Janet Jackson? My opinion, the Cowboys are much more affordable. Even had a few guys in New York City made it in that family. Yeah, I always thought that they were larger. If you want to talk about numbers, is Frank at a strip club watching? I was looking at Robert DiBernardo's FBI files recently, which is like 9 sections long, and it talks a lot about his early days in there with the Cavalcanti family and some of the stuff he was doing around Brooklyn with he had like some auto shops and a lot of things that he was involved in with a certain the Cavalcanti guy. Forgive me, I forget his name, but those files are available if you guys ever want to look into them. They're very interesting. Robert DiBernardo. Great Bear Auto. That is correct. Great Bear Auto. There's still some Great Bear Autos left. Yeah, Great Bear Auto. Those files talk about Great Bear Auto. So Robert DiBernardo, according to FBI files, Robert DiBernardo is not his actual name. His name when he was born is that was not his name at all. That's a second name. I don't know if it was his mother's second husband or something, and he ended up taking that name. But from what I recall, no, he's born in New York City, New York, and his early action was over there in Brooklyn, around like I think around like the Coney Island, the Gravesend area, Stillwell Avenue, all that shit. And his real name, for those that don't know, I'll tell you right now because I have the file saved. Let's see. Robert DiBernardo. Let's get his name. This will be cool for people that don't know this. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? You guys can spoil it if you want. I don't know. I'll get it out to you at some point, guys. But that wasn't his birth name. His birth name was something else. Yes, I can't believe they're still doing that. That's like wasn't that the same thing like when the Columbos were indicted a few years ago? Russo before he died, weren't they still trying to do that same shit? The fucking trying to muscle in on the unions and shit. Why are you still trying to do that? Why do you think that's a good idea? Even the wine merchant said that's a bad idea. I mean, this is a guy who taught me everything I knew. What is he doing? Even the wine merchant thought that was a bad idea. Let me see. No, Margaret Hearn. Some of these are available. I have like 3 different Freedom of Information Act requests out right now that's taking fucking forever to get. But they don't charge you. They'll charge you if you want everything, but they'll give you a certain amount free. But luckily, so the question is yes, to an extent, the feds will charge you for doing some of the legwork that goes with getting some of these files. But these are out on their own. Somebody requested them years ago or whatever, and they're available to look at. So I didn't have to go through getting these myself. But I can't find it. But yeah, like I was saying, his real name was not Robert DiBernardo. He was born something else. And as we talked earlier about Robert DiBernardo, we talked earlier about Roy. He was also in business with the mail. Marky Mark, $20. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. You're the fucking man. Thank you. And thanks for always hanging out, man. Thanks for always checking out my live streams and chilling, taking part. You're the man, dude. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'd love to get my great uncle Frank Brahini's file. He was connected to Meyer Lansky. Lansky was at my parents. Do you think there would be a file on him, Margaret? They would have to have a file on him. If they don't have a file on him, then they wouldn't have anything to give you. So I suppose you'd have to be sure that there is a file on him. Or maybe you could check Meyer Lansky. Maybe there's files of Meyer Lansky available. Maybe there's his name is in there somewhere. You know, you never know. Yes, he is the man. Yes. BK Sal, thank you so much, bro. You're the man, man. Thank you so much. $20. And I've been seeing you. BK, I had RD in here earlier. He was hanging out. He stopped in for a few minutes. Chilling. Thank you so much, BK. Is that a caddy you got right there? That looks pretty sweet, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, bro. Thank you. You guys make it all the better. Roro, BK Sal. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Marky. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, you guys check out RD. Check out RD's channel. What a guy. What a guy. This is really bothering me now. I know that this isn't good etiquette for live stream, but it's really bothering me that I had all this information and now I can't find it because I want to tell you Robert DiBernardo's real name. A guy who was heavily involved in the sexy industry. A guy who might have been more than likely pushing CP. You guys know what that is. CP. Let's see. Let's see. So that's 84. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good dude. Trying to get more guys in that world, BK, but a lot of guys say no, you know? A lot of guys say no. I spoke to a few and they were too cool for school to come on my channel. You know, some of them say, "Oh, I'm retired. I don't do that anymore." I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Don't do it then. Don't tell me you're retired because I've seen some shit, you know?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes, their loss. Thanks once again, Roro. That is right. 23,000 subs. Feels good to have that many subs. I wish I had more, but feels good. After 2.5 years, I really can't complain. I cannot complain at all. What is there to complain about, right? Is this it? You know, in Robert DiBernardo's FBI files, there is a rat talking about the idea that Sammy the Bull probably killed him. If you look in the files, they're talking about Sammy and they're kind of describing this character who has an office on Stillwell Avenue. They're describing his body type, his height, everything about it's obviously in reference to Sammy. Interesting stuff. Yeah, you guys should look at these files. They're very interesting. That would be later on in the files when he gets murdered, of course. I should do something on DiBernardo. I know some people have done, but I would go like so fucking deep on this guy with the sex stuff, with Show World in Times Square, Richard Basciano, all these fucking creeps. Do it justice. Do it real justice. I know, Roro. I'm the worst with that. I am the fucking worst. Changed. When I worked at Russo's, I did many fundraisers for Eric and his very politically. It looked like, oh, interesting, Christopher Capello. That's interesting. Yep. Yeah, he was a multimillionaire, so he must have been smart. He had ins in Star Distributors, sex toy companies, other companies, and he was in with Richard Basciano, who was the co-owner of the Show World. and many people might not know this, but DeMeo had a huge stake in Show World in Times Square. He was also financing the Show World Center, the famous Show World Center. He was a big financier of Show World, taking a lot of money from that place. And there's mention of that in Roy's files. There's mention of a meeting with Robert DiBernardo happening in the parking lot next to the Show World, where they're seen meeting, talking and discussing things. So yes, Robert DiBernardo, intelligent, multimillionaire, as Carmine said, a guy with no crew, unassuming, probably nerdy looking dude, doing business with mass murderers and people in the sex industry. Some people don't understand how big a hustler motherfucker DeMeo was. Some people don't understand that. Yeah, they look at him as just being a serial killer. They don't understand that he was a multimillionaire who had his tentacles in anything you can have your tentacles in. You know, it must be something to, you know, because you talk about serial killers, right? And they call Roy DeMeo a serial killer, right? Like, how many multimillionaire serial killers are there that aren't politicians? I'm not talking about Saddam Hussein over here. Just regular people out there. I don't know. Like actual serial killers, like chopping bodies up, fucking cutting heads off, slitting throats. How many of them? I don't know. Hard to say. I believe he was a councilman for Richmond Hill, Ozone Park, youngest ever elected. Well, Christopher Capello, let's look at that. Let's look at that, because I prepared plenty of slides for tonight's upload. Eric Ulrich, 2009, elected to the city council after graduating St. Francis College in 2007 for District 32 council member. Then he would be reelected in 2013 and 2017. In 2022, he was appointed Commissioner of New York City Department Buildings under Eric Adams. Here he is with Eric Adams here. And in 2023, September, he would be indicted for getting a little too friendly with mob associates. Taking money to basically do jobs for these guys, you know, push my permit through, you know, things of this nature. Specifically, two of the owners currently of Aldo's. Here he is with the original owner of Aldo's, who was not owning Aldo's anymore. And he was gambling at a social club, which is currently ran by the owners of Aldo's. That social club being the former social club of Ciro Perone. So that's what Eric Ulrich is up to. Hope that answers some of the questions. Although I'm sure you know some of this, Capello. And he has written letters over his time as a councilman in support of mob associates who have been indicted. On 2 occasions, he has written letters to judges. Interesting guy. Interesting guy. Yeah, probably. I mean, if you look at, you know, his family, how successful some of his families were. Some people in his family were. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do watch that Baby Bowl. I find it very entertaining. Doc Johnson. That's correct, Jared Sedaris. Doc Johnson. Yeah, I think he's basically just another de Blasio in another form almost. Maybe not as social justice-y, but pretty bad. Doc Johnson, yeah. I think that's what you're referring to, a sex toy company, which Robert DiBernardo did have an interest in, along with a guy by the name of, what the hell's the guy's name? I forget his name. But he was another guy who was heavily involved, who was at the helm of that company as well. What more could you ask for? Great crew, super diverse crew, in my opinion. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to go in a couple minutes, but before I go, I just want to remind you guys once more that it's very important that I let you know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
I'm just kidding. It's very important that I let you know that tomorrow, releasing, I'm sorry, now I'm reading comments. Jesse Escobar, thanks, Current Spot. Enjoy your day off tomorrow. Love the channel. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Jesse. Maybe I'll see you around the neighborhood one day. Thank you, buddy, for always joining. Roro, thank you so much. Thank you for the Cash App. You are the greatest. Yes, that would seemingly be the case, right? DB was a gaming account without a crew, but I don't know if he was ever made by the Cavalcanti then transferred. I know he started out. Yeah, so he was an associate of a certain DeCavalcanti member, and they had business in auto businesses in Brooklyn. God damn, I saved all of these files, and now I can't find what I want to find. Crazy. He was out. Paul wanted him dead. The contract was given to John Gotti. Everyone was petrified. Frankie G had the Gemini twins go away. Yeah. 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 Oh my God. Thank you, Gennaro. You have a great night too. Yeah, thank you. So let me just say that before I go. So tomorrow, episode 1, me and Peter Pete the Pick LaFrosia drops tomorrow. It's going to be about 43 minutes. I played a teaser of the interview earlier because people just wanted to see it. We're going to talk about his friend Anthony Center being released on parole. We're going to talk about how Pete feels about that. We're going to talk about how Pete generally feels about Anthony Center. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things. This is kind of, like I said, a loose kind of conversation. You know, we're just having a conversation like two guys shooting the shit. Going forward, we will hopefully be doing this weekly, at least, hopefully 2 or 3 times a month at the very least. And it would be more rigid. Because although Pete got indicted with the crew and did 5 years in relation to that crew, all in all, he did about 22 years of his life in prison. And he has never cooperated on anybody. He has never ratted on anybody. And he's lived an incredibly interesting life. And he's ran with some very dangerous people. Have a good night. Thank you, Corruption Connection. Thank you, Gunsmoke, Marky Mark, Roro, IH Farmer. Thank you to everybody that. How long ago was LeGrand? I want to check that out. It's probably 7, 8, or 9 uploads down. There's part 1, there's part 2, and I'm working on part 3. BK Sal, brother, thank you so much for the donation. I see you out there. I see it. Marky, thank you so much for the donation. Roro, Gunsmoke, thank you for the donation. I hope I don't forget anybody. I think there's a way I could feed BK Sal. G78, my man in Ireland earlier. I hope I'm not. I know I'm definitely forgetting people. And there's a way to check this. Connection, I believe you also. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody that donated. You know who you are. You guys are the greatest. Please, you'll be tuned in. Good night. Oh, Pete, you're still hanging out. Awesome. All right, guys. So about noon tomorrow, I think that's the time I'm going to drop that interview with Pete, and you guys are going to hear some interesting stuff, and I think you are going to enjoy it. I will see you guys soon. Please watch the interview tomorrow. I'm working on some more content. Everybody have a great night. Gunsmoke, if you're alive tomorrow, I'll stop in your chat.
Maybe I'll talk about a couple of things, all right? But you better be careful because I'm gonna come after you if you don't behave. You understand me?
And with that, let me give you guys one more of these.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey, oh my God.
You guys have a good night. Good night, Gunsmoke. Good night, Roro. All right. Love you guys. Peace.